There we go.
What is up, everybody?
Hello, friends. Welcome back to the arts department, where we're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons with Dungeons and Designers. That's all of us.
We
Word.
are going to be in a bit of a different place this week. We're going to be playing a campaign that takes place during the Gilded Age of this world, where there's plenty of noir mystery and rainy streets and Victorian buildings and all kinds of other fun stuff. So, last time we were here in the city of Marn, this crime-ridden, Victorian-esque sort of almost like an alternate reality London, if fantasy races existed and it limped its way into the 19th century with all sorts of strange steampunk technology and enraptured with the occult and forces of evil. The crew that has been pushing their way through the city, uncovering a mystery, trying to figure out what plot is happening, what creature is behind this series of grisly deaths and strange subterfuge. As you guys ran through the city the last time we were here, after cracking the case and finding an assassin's kit, some kind of leather armor, a series of wands, a crazy-looking dagger, all beautifully created, set in crushed velvet. The group of you had continued through the city, passing through Old Jotunn, a haunted portion of the city filled with old, dark foundries, while you were pursued through the rain by some dark figure that only Karis had seen. You made your way north, back through the Leatherworks, into a portion of the city that's still on the downslide, but in slightly better conditions than the places you were before. The tenements that Cell had lived in and kept hidden from the prying eyes of the rest of civilization. With the case in hand, you made it to the Staggering Giant Inn, which is a strange, almost four-story building that at some point in the past completely leaned from the second story up, knocking into the building next door. And instead of anybody deciding to fix it, has instead changed the name of the inn and let that be its legacy of a strange leaning tower within the city. So that is where we pick up as you all stand in front of this beautifully lit golden doorway of warmth in the pouring rain. What would you guys like to do?
Is there a bouncer at the door?
No bouncer, just an open door.
Sure.
Does it seem incredibly busy? Sorry. Just wondering.
From what you can see in the, what you can see with the warm glow kind of pushing through, there's some folks inside. Hard to get a good look exactly who's in there, but from what you can see, there are a couple patrons milling about. There appears to be only one bartender on duty tonight. A couple folks sitting at tables. What were you going to say, Sel?
I was going to take the shape of the old man from the apartment complex, and then go in and sit down.
So, if I remember correctly, you had actually done that prior, so you may still have that form, and somebody in the party had actually turned into Cell.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that pain? So, Karis, this 7 foot tall fawn, an old, dirty man, a changeling gentleman holding a 3 foot something covered in a tarp, a 3.5 foot red fleck kobold with metallic scales, and Amelia. Have you taken any other form at this point, or are you just in the raw?
I had used disguise self to just appear as a commoner.
Just appear as a commoner. Okay.
I'm gonna disguise self as a halfling.
Okay.
Would I be able to see Pain?
I mean, yeah, you can see her. She's
Yeah, I'm gonna stop her before we go in. Listen, if you don't change right now, I'm gonna walk. Quite frankly, I have everything we need, or I need anyway, and this isn't working. There's a reason that I changed shape. There's a reason why I've shown only you my face, and the people in this group my face, and nobody else.
So do you want to tell me why your face would not work in there?
Well, because it could possibly be traced back to me. I don't want to mess with it. Listen, I'm not going to try to argue, but I will ask you to change with a little bit of panache. So I'm going to roll for panache.
What do I need to roll?
It's insight versus my persuasion.
Okay. Uh, 16.
All right, 27. So you'd be under the effects of effectively charmed person, but it's not magical. So I'll ask you again to please change, ma'am.
It is still pouring rain and dark at this point outside. It is pushing on into, I think, close to the middle of the night. You guys had made your way back to Sal's tenements in the evening when you spotted that somebody in the clock tower. So yeah, it's about 12, maybe 1.
Whatever you guys are gonna do it. I'm cold and wet. I'm gonna go sit by the fire. I'm just gonna go in and sit by the fire.
You see the halfling pass in through the doorway. As soon as you walk in, it is warm and pleasant. There's a immediate smell of the remnants of whatever was served a couple of hours ago as the dinner bells tolled. What are the rest of you doing? Pain, are you changing?
City in. Like, what type of people are common around this area that I've noticed?
This is a lower working class part of town. It caters to a lot of the folks who work in the mills and warehouses. It caters to a lot of the folks who work in the foundries. And also it caters to a good deal of people who would otherwise find themselves along Tanner Row or in the Leatherworks. So,
okay. I'll just change into, like, kind of someone who has kind of the stature of Ellis, you know, and kind of that build, that voice, that sort of how he carries himself, and someone who looks like they work in the Leatherworks.
Okay. You see her turned into a broad-shouldered, a bit stooped man with a full beard and jet black hair. He's got a little bit of like a tired look on his face, but he seems friendly. The rest of you continue inside?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You all head inside. The minute you pass into the threshold, you see the barkeep kind of look over. She goes, I assume you're going to want some privacy. She points to whatever the canvas thing is that the broad-shouldered character is holding. And then she snaps, and you see a Kenku run to the doorway and immediately begin mopping and trying to squeegee the water back out of the inn. And then the door closes behind you guys. There's a little bit of like some of the mist from outside is like pinched off from the host and floats in through the doorway and then slowly dissipates as the heat and dryness of the room completely changes the climate.
Really coming down out there.
Should we get a table or maybe even a room?
Well, tables up front for gambling, tables over there for sitting. We got booths in the back if you need to be a little more private. You kind of, as she points, you can see there's a cluster of tables that are close to where the hearth is. This table is red felted. You see people with stooped shoulders all sort of leaning around with all holding what appears to be cards. There are stacks on some of the tables of these roughly hewn wooden chits. And then the tables, as you pointed to, that were for sitting, were in the furthest corner away from the fire, in the dark, where it appears to be at least a good 20 degrees cooler, that far away from the hearth. He says, and we got booths in the back. What do you need?
Friends?
Booth will be fine.
Oh, okay.
All right. She snaps again, and the Kenku looks, makes a whistle, sets the broom down, or excuse me, the mop down along the side, and then he begins to head over, and he sort of just gives a quick look, begins to lead you guys into the dark. As you turn a corner, he leads you past three of these, like, they have privacy partitions between them with some older, rattier, but decidedly nicer booths than what you guys saw outside. He sits you in the corner booth, the largest one, and as you all begin to fill in, he just begins to leave and walk back to the front. You can hear you. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, as he starts going, I'm going to ask him, do you have a boost or a high chair? Short.
Turns. You see he cocks his head for a second, and then instead of going back to the front, he disappears into the kitchen door, which is right next to you guys. You can hear the sound of like pots and pans and things scrabbling around in there. And as he comes out with a slightly bent pot, like metal pot, and he flips it upside down and he scoops it onto the booth.
Perfect. Thank you. And I'm just going to scramble up on top of it and kind of like make myself comfortable.
Perfect. Thank you. And he heads back to the front.
I flip him a silver before he goes.
Catches it handily, tucks it before anybody else sees it, and continues moving.
Is there anybody else sitting at the other booths?
Make a perception check.
Can I help him look?
You guys can both look around if you want to give him advantage.
So I'm rolling with advantage, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 21.
You don't see any other patrons. You hear, though, distantly, the sound of somebody else entering the bar quietly. And you can distantly now hear the sound of something. You hear the sound of dripping water. Like falling off of a form. But you don't see anybody.
Just one?
What was that? Just one what?
Just the one like I could just kind of hear one person. Okay, it's not like okay.
Outside of that, you just hear the din of the gamblers out in the main room. You hear the barkeep barking a muffled order to the Kenku, and you hear the Kenku reply in her voice. As the two of them sort of seem to be bickering about something. But outside of that, just the dripping sound. Seems like there might be a couple of leaks in this place.
Well, do we talk business?
Do we think that it's safe?
I have a feeling that we have still followed.
Yeah, I'm not positive that we got away from whoever or whatever it was that I saw.
Well, we got a crate full of things that we could use to take out whoever that is.
Oh, we do? What was in that crate? I don't.
I'll open it up underneath the table and like slide it over.
I awkwardly try to look under the table. Horns are like poking into somebody.
Just like trying to stuff your head down there. You can't quite fit.
Just utterly conspicuous. Just
Like
so
poking me
bad.
in the side.
Maybe we should just get a hot meal and then maybe do this in a room where it's more private and less awkward.
I'm with Shaka.
I'll kick the lid of the crate closed and kind of shuffle it back towards me and pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like we might be able to protect a room better, actually, than being out in the open here. We can have somebody sit guard at a door, and all of the things one does when they're being pursued.
Well, listen,
But I don't trust any of the random people we just saw when we walked in here.
I mean, I don't see anybody that came in either. Like with my eyes, I don't see anybody.
No, you don't see. You can't see the door from where you guys sit. You are in a private section of the establishment. That's around the corner. That's separated from the main rabble and noise.
If I'm allowed to kind of concentrate for roughly 10 minutes or so, I can perhaps see who may have followed us in here. You guys want to order some food and kind of chill here for a little bit, or do you want to get a room and just try to evade whoever's in here, potentially?
As you finish speaking, my stomach growls.
What's your passive perception, Payne?
Was
16.
that you?
Yeah, you hear it.
Shaka's stomach votes. We get some food.
Yeah. Let's get some food, and then we can retire to, I'm sure, what is a amazing room upstairs. I'd like to get one that's leaning against the other building.
All right.
Really
So
skeptical.
when he says that, I'm just gonna start meditating in order to pick up the see invisibility spell.
Okay.
Use my psionic discovery to do that.
Okay. Very
While
cool.
she's doing that, like to the Kenko. Sorry.
Hastily makes it back to the table. Is sitting there waiting and ready.
Could we perhaps get some meals, hot meals, preferably, and a double serving for my small friend here? Thank you.
He sort of points to each of you with his beak in kind, taking orders. And after a minute or so, he passes into the kitchen. You can hear the sound again of like crashing pots and pans. He seems to be the only one working in the kitchen at this late hour.
As I'm meditating, I imagine I'm kind of like in the corner of the booth.
And this booth is kind of rounded. You can sit on, there's benches across from each other. There's a bench here, and then there's an open space with sliding privacy doors that kind of can close off. So you guys can close those off if you want to, and it kind of becomes its own private little suite with a table in the center.
As I begin to meditate, I just start to kind of like trace areas on my body, and in kind of a strange fashion that doesn't seem to follow any sort of pattern. It just looks like I'm kind of touching myself in different places as I'm doing it. Might look a little strange with the alter self on, but that's what's happening.
It's just Eric, and he's just like rubbing.
Completely
kind of
uncomfortable. I reach down and I cover Shaka's eyes.
Do this.
It's more of a
Right.
look of concentration on my face than pleasure.
You look excited for the food.
10 minutes pass, and your eyes begin to glow with that radiant energy. And as you look up, within the border of the privacy screen is a red-skinned tiefling with tall horns, full black leather. He's leaning up against the privacy, the privacy screen, and sort of just kind of he's just giving you a look. He's like looking around at the group, nonchalant, doesn't seem to care. He's got this long barbed tail that kind of wraps around his legs, and thick, slick black hair that he has pulled back. He's just standing there.
So I'll make direct eye contact with him and see if he moves or gestures or anything.
He goes, "There it is." And he snaps, drops the invisibility. You guys now see, standing in the privacy booth with you guys is this red-skinned tiefling, full black leathers from head to toe. He looks like he looks like he raided Hot Topic. Like, he's just full, has like black leather and belts from head to toe, high collar. He's got a cravat at the front that actually matches his skin color, and you see his teeth, when he smiles, are filed to points, and they are silver. And he says, "Wow, you are a fun group to chase. That was a good time. Shall we have a conversation?" And without asking, he sits down next to you guys and kind of scoots in alongside of Karis and puts his hands on the table.
Subtly pull out a dagger.
Under the table? Mm-hmm. Make a sleight of hand check.
By the way, Seb, I have that the power to use the invisibility for 3 hours.
Awesome.
So, but that's it. After that, so just for time's sake.
It's not like constantly going for 3 hours. It's just you have to call it out.
The spell lasts for an hour itself, but my ability to use it, I have to roll to see how many hours I can use the spell.
If you use the spell at 2 hours and 59 minutes, can you use it for the next hour? Serious question.
Why not?
That's a good question. Because if I cast it at 2 hours and 59 minutes.
All good. I'm gonna do the same thing, but like just with like my thumb and the top of my rapier inside the cane.
Okay. There's immediate tension around the table. Make your sleight of hand check as well. What was your roll, Amelia?
19.
19.
Also a 19. What a world.
I don't think that triggers his. I don't think he doesn't seem to notice. At least so far as he's willing to let his body language betray his actions. And sitting there, he says, "I assume you have at least a couple of questions for me. I know I've got plenty for you."
Let's start with your name.
Nice.
Good recovery. I'm Saurus Clintus Glenmire. He kind of lets it hang in the air for a minute. Anybody here can make a history check if they want to.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
No.
Oh boy, yeah, that's not a thing.
Any fucking idea who this guy is?
That was a 3 with my bonus.
Yeah. I got a 3 as well.
I got an 8.
Karis is like, "You work for the bootstrappers, don't you?"
Shaka, what did you get?
I'm sorry, which roll was this? I was writing notes.
This was an investigation. I'm sorry, not investigation. History check.
We're all very clearly not from around here.
I was literally a natural 1.
It looks like it wants to roll directly to Foundry.
You can if you want to, or you can disable if you don't want to whisper any of your, or if you want to whisper all of your rolls. You can edit that with the D&D with the Beyond 20 widget at the top of your thing, or you can just deactivate it. You don't need to have it active right now unless you want to roll everything in Foundry.
There we go. I got it. 13.
Hey, double digits.
Hey, all right.
At least one of us knows what's going on
everybody
in this
here,
fucking city.
Shaka knows the most, and it's not much. Basically, you know that there was a Glenmire heir who disappeared some 15 years ago, and you think his name was Saurus. This might be him. But as he looks around the table at all the blank stares, he goes, "Really? Really? Really? None of you. Just the kobold. She's the only one who has any idea."
Can I roll for performance?
Do you want to maybe
You can
expound?
You can roll for deception if you want to.
Would you like to give us more information that we should know? If you're, I mean, what do you mean really?
Leans back. Look, to be completely honest, it's probably better that you really don't know who I am, because it makes this next part much easier. Because to be completely honest, you knowing who I am isn't really important to what I need you guys to do.
Insight check.
Make an insight check.
It is very important.
I feel like it might be important. 14.
14. His ego seems pretty hurt. But it doesn't seem like it's necessarily imperative for you to know who he is for him to explain himself. But
Look, we don't know who you are, but I certainly like your style.
you want to make a persuasion check against this
Yes.
guy?
Yeah.
Just to see if you can butter him up a little bit, maybe change his disposition.
Yeah.
I
20.
help him with that by saying,
What do you say to help him? Wasn't Shaka already helping? Did I not hear that?
Oh.
No? Okay. I thought you said something. Go ahead. Hey.
I have to admit the invisibility thing was pretty impressive. Probably why more people don't know, about you, because you're so good at following people, and I just kind of stumble a little bit. And I try to help the cause.
Yeah. As you stumble through, it's like barely advantage.
That's a 22.
22. He goes, "The farm I like. Let me skip ahead to the part that matters to everybody sitting at the table. That," and he points to the case, which is now like under the table. He goes, "That is mine. And actually, point of order. Shaka, you may not have necessarily heard of this guy before, but you have seen him before.
I was gonna ask.
This is your pursuer from the den."
Since he knows who I am, I'm going to drop disguise self.
Mhm.
I'm gonna lean forward. Seems to me it's ours, since your people failed to take it.
Well, their failure was kind of on my part. I did have the guy killed beforehand, but it's not really. It's neither here nor there. The case. I mean, I'm more than happy to give you guys the case, to be completely honest, if we can strike some kind of a deal here, because it seems like, at the very least, you're competent enough to have found it, with the ledger, of course, which I will need that back. And you were also able to dispatch of the bootstrappers, which I should thank you. That's 15 less loose ends for me. You did kill Warjack. I can't really say that I'm happy, but I am impressed.
What was the deal between you and Warjack?
That's not really important. Warjack's
I'll say with panache.
Panache. Roll your stupid persuasion check. Let me find my dice.
Wink. It's 19. I can't roll below a 19 on those, which is kind of fun.
I'll just roll it. I'll just roll it on the sheet. Save myself some time.
Give him a little wink.
Oh, a little wink and a nudge. It was an insight check, right?
Yeah, his insight.
Let me pull up his little sheet here.
It's what, a -4 for insight?
It's like a -30, I think. He's actually not that insightful.
Give him a little eyebrow wiggle. And what was your deal?
What was your roll? 19. Yeah, you got him on that one.
You can tell us.
There's a little bit of like a wry smile on his face as the longer he spends with people that he most likely wanted to kill at first. He's starting to like you folks.
We've got a certain je ne sais quoi about us.
I mean, you are.
Barely competent, and I would say
this entire group is all charisma builds.
I'll let out a large belch as he says that.
Warjack and I, we spent some time in the frontier together. That's all that really matters, and he's helped me get a couple of things over to this side. Namely, the contents of that case, which I assume you have opened, judging from the giant hole in the apartment complex I saw.
Yeah, that's an accurate assessment.
Well, here's the aforementioned deal, and I'll let you all get to your nightly duties. You could have the contents of that case without me murdering all of you, if you promise to kill someone for me.
Basically just...
Oh, sure, yeah, why not?
Shaka is growling, and it sounds kind of like a kitten when you have a toy and you're really into playing with it.
Like a tea kettle?
And her tail is kind of lashing a little bit.
Leash that one.
Well, I'm not opposed to a little bit of contract killing. I do have 2 questions. The first, tell me about that stone that Warjack brought in. We saw it vaporize somebody. I need some info on that. And 2, just to prep yourself while you're answering the first one, why'd all those people get killed at that den? Someone from your family, I'm assuming, owns.
Make a persuasion check.
I have advantage, right? Because they're charmed.
Yeah, how long does that affect?
A minute.
A minute.
While he's doing that, I message Shaka and I ask her, why was he trying to kill you? Was it just for the ledger?
I
forgot about the ambience.
Shrug.
It's pouring rain inside.
And nod.
Yeah.
Kind of look up at you questioningly, like, I'm not sure. Maybe.
19.
19. You can tell he's a little bit cagey when he gives these responses, but... Well... The stone... It's important to what I need to do while you guys are doing the other thing. That's all you really need to know about that. As for the people dying... I mean... You gotta make a couple of omelets, you gotta kill, 30 or so eggs, however that saying goes. Right?
Listen, man, I don't think we're just gonna kill someone and not know why you're doing what you're doing. Okay? I mean, one of us maybe would, as I gesture to myself. But,
Not wrong.
But what if that person falls within the constraints of what you might want to... What if he's already a person you might want to kill? Eh? Like that sweeten the deal a bit?
We're supposed to trust you on that?
I mean, when you hear the name, it's going to be pretty obvious.
How would you know who we'd want to kill and who we'd want to spare?
Because
I agree with my friend over there. I don't think you're that familiar with who we are.
no, but I do have a good idea that at least a few of you here want to make the city a better place, right? I mean, that's what you people do. You seem like the good sort. He points to Ellis, basically, to the commoner that Payne is portraying. And you'll do anything for coin, I'm assuming. And he points to Stella, and he goes, and you, I think you might actually find this kind of fun. As he points to Garrus. I don't really know about you. You probably not your deal. As he points to Amelia.
I just follow them. Still detached, by the way.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
It's only been it's been about 10 minutes. This guy itself lasts how long?
An hour.
An hour. Yeah. You guys have only been here for about 15 total. Took you 5 minutes to kind of get in, get settled, get your food ordered, and then the invisibility was cast, and then Saurus let himself be seen.
Okay, well, let's hear your proposal, friend, but try to be honest with us. And I put my hand on his shoulder. Charm person.
He's already charmed.
He's gonna be double charmed.
Oh wait, he's charmed already?
Yeah.
But he's only charmed. But he's only charmed through
Non-magical means.
through
Forget my
cells.
name again.
I did.
Very
Very professional. Very professional. Selling is charmed, but it's only in regards to Cell's interaction with him. So charming him again, I think. I don't imagine
It'll
it would work.
stack.
No stack. Just charm.
Everyone charm
Everybody
him.
charm him.
Our person.
Charm pile.
Yeah. I'd like to cast charm person on him after.
Okay, okay. Point taken. Karis is not paying attention to the back end of the way things are working.
Yeah. You place on him. You're close enough. He's pretty much shoulder to shoulder with you guys right now. He's sitting in the booth. He seems overly confident, if anything.
That's so funny. If we're all shoulder to shoulder, to just reach over and put your hand on.
No, he's right next to me, right?
Yeah, he's right next
So
to
I'd be like, why would I turn like this when I can use this hand and be like, yeah, all right, friend.
Like Buster for Arrested Development when he like tries to get people back. Sasha says they're just like.
Flawless logic.
You know, it's kind of crazy. I've been completely honest with everybody here at the table. I think maybe it's the horns, maybe it's the teeth, maybe it's the all black. People just assume that I'm lying to them. I've been honest with you from the get-go.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to kill somebody. I'm going to give you a couple of things for it. Some things that help you kill that somebody. I mean, it seems like a good deal to me.
Not quite.
All you got to do is say, hey, I want to have more information on who this guy you wanted me to kill is. And then we start talking business.
Well, also, you've only given us the tools to do so. You haven't given us a reward for doing it. On top of that, you've given us partial truths, not full truths. Quite frankly, we can disappear with this gear, and then you'll not have that gear anymore. So we need a reward on top of that. Also, we need to figure out what you're doing while this is going on to try to help you as efficiently as possible. Oh, wait.
He's like, you make a lot of really compelling points. Yeah, there should be a reward, shouldn't there? Well,
I see where's the payment even.
yeah. Well, let's talk about that, because you've got the case, right? I mean, the items inside, you have got a bunch of untraceable magic items in a city where every single magic item is accounted for and scried on. So, already that's pretty good payment. I think that's pretty damn good if I do say so myself. It's why I spent a lot of money to get it. Also, there is this. And he says, could I borrow the case for a minute? I just want to kind of show you a little something. You probably missed this, actually. It's hard to see tucked deep inside the... Mind if I take a look?
No.
All right. That's fine.
Tell us what it is. We can find it. Case doesn't leave my possession.
I can't give you the information on that because unfortunately, it's something that can be used against me, and I do need to protect myself. But
You can't tell us what's inside the case?
I can't tell you the little extra thing I've kind of hidden in there. You can find it though. Now that you know that it's there, you just got to find the right little sequence of buttons. It's super easy. You guys seem super competent. I'm sure you'll get it.
Just show him the case. Come on.
No. I don't want to put him out. If he doesn't want to show me the case, he doesn't show me the case. It's not a big deal. I'm simply coming.
You are a really nice being. Did you know that?
I'm just a guy who's trying to get a couple of people that he respects, who have already done more for his cause than his own men have done in the past 2 months. I mean, chemical attack on the bootstrappers. Incredible. Was that planned? Was that improvised? That was good. And
That's what it was.
you wipe out a whole warehouse, and then on top of that, you get a bunch of mooks from the city to all get blamed for that little incident in the den. It's honestly, I should have hired you much longer ago. I wasted so much time following you around the city. I should have given you a proposition the first time you picked up the case. But then again, you wouldn't have done quite so good throughout the city if I had. So I don't know. Maybe it's better this way. Still trying to figure that part out. But yeah, payment. How much money you want? Just, you know what? Here. Reaches into his, pulls out a scrap of paper, pulls out a fancy mechanical pen, slides it across, and he goes, we use a silver standard here, so just keep writing zeros.
Well, yeah.
I'll write down 100,000.
Add a zero to that. Then we'll call it good.
If you insist.
Slides it back.
Well,
Hey,
stop
before
it.
we-
Stop the paper. This doesn't mean we're agreeing to the job yet.
That's simply the first part of this contract, is just negotiations on price and reward.
Take my hand off.
Can I inspect the pen before I give the pen back?
Yeah, you can.
Is there anything weird about it? Any sort of
Make an Arcana check.
Wow, it's been nonstop 19s.
As you wrote on the paper, you felt a drawing sensation coming from your arm. Hard to explain. And as the ink left the pen, as it hit the light, there's a little bit of a red sheen to it. As you push it back across the table, you make that connection. It might be blood.
So,
He pulls it back. Says,
do I understand what that means in the context?
"You don't." Well, you can make the connection with a 19, I think. You're dealing with somebody who has fiendish heritage. You are dealing with the Glenmire. The Glenmire, there's rumored that they do some shady dealings, typically with contracts and things like that. You might be able to infer from this that he's at least attempting to put you on the hook.
I'm gonna then, as Amelia has her hand on the paper, I'm gonna draw the paper back.
You had made this check already previously once the paper had already been slid back. Think of it like the order of operations. You had slid it across the table, Amelia put her hand on it. He said, this is just the first part of the negotiations for the contract, spelling it out exactly for what it was. She took her hand off the paper, he pulled it into himself.
Oh, okay.
You still have the pen? Then you got it. It's a pen.
Why does it draw blood from me?
Everything needs an ink source.
All right, I'm keeping this. I'm gonna put that.
Okay. You let me take it.
They've got the Glenmire logo on it.
Yeah, it's embossed. It's beautiful.
Pens.
I got like 40 of them. It's not a big deal.
Pulls out a whole stack of them. He's like, I got more if you want for your kids.
He actually, as you put it away, he holds up his hand, and then there's one in his hand, and then he puts it. It's a packed pen. It's gone. His packed weapon is a pen.
That is absolutely terrifying.
He slides it into like the fucking one of the many leather pouches of this guy's front. He goes, well, first part is complete. We've talked about payment. We've talked about reward. I've provided an upfront. Do you want to hear more? Honestly, I'm having a good time. I could do this for all
So how is this?
a couple hours at least.
Please explain how this murder is going to better the people of the city.
Well, because you'll be killing my father. And, I mean...
Who's your father?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Who's your father?
That would be the Clintus Moose Glenmire. You know
what?
The Clintus, the one I'm named after. You know, high up there.
Clintus. Okay.
Does that name ring a bell?
That name should ring a bell. Everybody roll a history check.
Everyone.
I'm apparently great at those. Nope. 9.
9.
That's better.
DC 10.
14.
10. 14.
12.
Actually, Amelia, I feel like you would know this regardless of your role, with seeing as who you are.
I rolled a 30.
So, both Payne and Sel, you guys know Clintus is apparently the head of the board for the Glenmire family. Basically, there are about 12 members of this inner circle of this family, and he's the head of it. That's as much as you know. He goes by Mr. K to anybody, like any of his enforcers or anybody who deals with the Glenmire family knows him as Mr. K. And some folks know that Mr. K is actually Clintus Moose Glenmire. However, Amelia, you know that Clintus was the direct cause for the schism between the two elven families some 300 years ago, 400 years ago. So you can, judging from that being his father, you can infer that this may in fact be the child who caused the split. He is the child that the Glenmire invested in dark powers to have.
Gotcha.
And as he looks at you and he sees, even though he sees that you're disguised, but he sees the look of recognition in your eyes when he says Clintus, and he goes, someone here has heard of me. Finally. Getting a little bit of a feeling of respect again, and it feels pretty good. I mean, I've been gone a long time, but I didn't expect everybody to just forget I existed. It hurts, you know? You think you leave a legacy, and then everybody just goes on with their lives. What's the point? Jeez.
Well, where you been?
There's one thing I know. It's the city has a very short memory, my friend.
That much is absolutely true. So, the contract is, you kill my father. Pretty easy. With the tools that I'll be giving you, all you got to do is just make sure that he ceases to live, I don't really care how many others of the top order that you kill, but this is the only one that I specifically ask you kill. That's it. I think.
What kind of, sorry to interrupt you, but what kind of changes are you hoping to bring to the Glenmire family with your father out?
Well, we'll return to what we used to do. We used to be enforcers and spies, occasionally assassins. But we weren't servants for some kind of darkness, that's for sure. I want to bring respect back to the name. Also, I want to bring my father down. He besmirched our entire family. He created a schism between powerful families. We've been fighting over scraps and crumbs ever since. Spent my entire life in the shadow of the Lumiere. The only way to greatness is to... Oh, I'm sorry. I was monologuing. Sorry.
I noticed. It was good. I liked it. But I do have a question. Is there patricide, even if you're hiring someone else to do it, that could quite
crime.
Possibly
You're looking
scar.
for the word crime.
No. It's more personal than that. I mean, it could scar you for the rest of your existence to do such a thing. Is there any other way besides killing your father? Exile or? I mean, it seems like you're jumping to very harsh conclusions. I mean, I don't know your father at all, but it does seem like there has to be some other way besides just going in guns blazing.
Well, I've tried poisoning. I've tried to exile him. I actually plane shifted him one time. That didn't stick. There's a couple different ways to try to get rid of the man, but I think death is the most permanent.
So he knows that you've caught. Did he trace them back to you? Those attempts?
He did, which is part of why I was exiled to the lower planes for a little while, just long enough to really kind of just get into the psyche, you know, really kind of make me feel like I was fucking crazy. And then they kind of let me go. That's sort of their thing. There's no use torturing you forever. You know, they got to torture you a little bit now, and then they can let you feel like you finally got away, and they bring you back in. That's hell. That's hell for you.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a glimpse of it from this conversation.
Yes, seeing his demeanor and knowing that information, like how would we know that he's a little off his spot?
I mean, you can infer he's pretty clearly like insane.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys have, from
right,
the conversation you guys have had so far.
Show me the thing with the case.
Ah, awesome.
And tell me where your father is.
Well, of course, my father's going to be in the Glenmire Towers. He's a bit on the higher up, if you know what I mean. I think they're trying to... Last time I checked, the chamber circle was in a demi-plane, but the demi-plane's held within the tower. You'll have to get more information. They tend to move the demi-plane, or at least the conduit that takes you there. It's a very smart maneuver. We stole it from the Lumiere, actually, but don't tell them that. By the way, as he's saying this, he spins the case, he opens it up, and he just kind of starts like throwing the items out, basically. Just like, oh, wands, here's the knife, armor.
I'm
gonna take the armor. I just want to hold that in my hands.
I've got the knife and whatever else he's.
You want the knife?
I don't know. I'm just grabbing at what's there so that it's not out in broad daylight.
Okay, he's really clattering to the table too. It's pretty loud. He has no sort of semblance whatsoever of like his subtlety ended when you guys realized he was there, and now he just doesn't seem to give a shit.
His subtlety ended after it had been tortured out of him.
Yeah. Exactly.
With charm.
I'll start taking wands and just kind of stashing them next to me in the booth so that they're...
Okay.
Oh, it was 3 wands and a dagger or something? Was that what it was?
Yeah, 3 wands, a dagger, hold on, I have them written down and I want to make sure that I get them all to you so you guys can use them properly.
I'll just cast minor illusion to make the table look normal as it's
okay, over top of it. So
you're planting him now, get pain.
Slightly higher.
There she is.
As he's rooting through his case, the Kenku shows up with the food and is like holding a bunch of stuff as the table is now minor illusioned, so that only the top part of the case is sticking out of the table. And as Saurus sees him show up, he closes the case and says, "Hey, all right, the food's here." And he takes one of the plates. It's Shaka's, unfortunately, and he really begins digging in. The rest of you get your food. And you're just like,
well, Shaka got double, so it's fine.
Shaka
but she needed double.
And like her other plate, she just pulls in real close and leans over it and starts shoveling food into her mouth.
The whole thing with the rock, the thing, it's from it's a fragment of a dead god. Pretty cool. His name was Ru. He was the god of death. They killed the god of death. How funny, right? Anyway, it's good. It's not bad. I've never been here before. This place, they popped up way after I got exiled.
What kind of food is that, by the way?
It is a mix of... It's mostly northern cuisine, which is very bland and basic. A lot of the stuff is like boiled meats, grilled vegetables sometimes, not heavy on the salt, but not on other spices. As he's digging, he's like, anyway, the god dies, leaves a ton of artifacts, okay? He's got 12 of these things. These tablets that basically like wore him around his belt like a sash, the legends say. Put them all together to do something real cool. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm going to figure it out. Another cool thing, and it's just like eating, he looks in the case, he pulls aside the leather, and he begins to cast an arcane hand over top of the case. And it begins to open a second tier underneath all of the other stuff that was in there. And in there is a single item. And he hefts it out. It appears to be kind of heavy. It is clearly a staff. A staff of some kind, but it's been completely shattered off the one end. Affixed to the end now is a spiral of copper wiring and a wooden stock, and then below it is like a pistol grip stock on it, so they can be held like a rifle. There are all sorts of like brass fittings and copper wiring wrapped around it to hold the shattered pieces together. And there are a number of these tiny little spikes driven into the runes that were along the shaft of the staff. That's
so tight.
This is the staff, or what's left of the staff of Ru. Here, check this out. He pulls it out. There's like a dark shimmer to it, and as he picks it up, it seems like the little bit of light that's in this room almost seems to dim. Real evil artifact. He sets it down on the table. All you gotta do is point that at my dad. Problem solved. Oh, to be fair, you gotta wear him down a little bit first. Alright? He's been alive a long time. He's made some dark deals. He knows how to get out of some things, so just make sure you wear him down a couple of times. Make him kind of waste his resources. Then, once he's had a little time to get tired, you hit him with this bad boy, and then poof.
What does it do exactly?
Poof? Yeah, what's poof mean?
It's really something that's got to be seen, and I'd show you, except it's only got one charge, and you got to charge it in magical darkness on another plane. It's, I mean, the Ru guy, he didn't want his stuff falling into other people's hands, so... A lot of
do we have to get a special adapter for that or something? Like, is that going to be a problem?
That's standard USB-C or...
there's a $70 adapter that you can plug in, and then you want to download special drivers.
And it has to be set on top of the $1,000 stand.
Otherwise, it won't charge.
Is it just plug and play, or?
I think I know the guy that made this. His name is Jobs or something like that.
Jobs.
Jorvis.
Steve Jorvis.
Steve Jorvis.
Steven Jarvis Winkleton. Anyway.
Sorry. Okay. Look, I'm not touching that, and I also am not going to be a part of this. But whatever you all decide to do is your business. This just doesn't sit well with me. Someone once told me that if a deal looks too good to be true, it probably is. And when you can write as many zeros as you want on a piece of paper, that sounds like a deal that's too good to be true. So that's
Payne.
that's where I stand.
What if we can help the people of the city? Wouldn't we? I mean, regardless of the money, who cares about silver? It's just silver. But helping others, that's a noble cause, isn't it?
I don't
Absolutely.
think killing one person's gonna fix the city. Also,
But
I
also
found that
sometimes helping people makes things worse, and has unexpected consequences.
Yeah.
And I kind of look at what's his name, the son, and kind of like
SARS, I think is his name.
SARS. I look at SARS.
SARS, I think it's SARS-2 is his name.
And I just kind of raise an eyebrow, like trying to communicate with a look and a feel that this guy isn't probably much better than the guy that's already in power.
Mm-hmm.
All of that being said, additionally, you mentioned that this artifact is clearly evil. What does it do to the
Very
person
evil.
who wields it?
What? Oh, sure. What did you say?
What will it do to the person that wields it?
Oh, it you know what? I don't really know. I've never fired it. I never needed to. It was just hard enough just for me to get the damn thing. It was buried in some tomb out there in the wasteland. It's incredible, honestly, the things you find out there. They fall in from other worlds. You believe that? It's just like... It's wild. It's
you
crazy.
Go ahead and put that back in the case.
Okay. That's fine. You still want it though, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to use that thing? At least once.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright. I'll keep it here for you. Sets it in, puts the second one down, locks it in place. And he closes the case, which is now empty of all the magic items. So let's divvy up those. Who took the dagger?
Well, I was holding the dagger. I'm not taking anything.
Yeah, I'm not
until I
taking
know what they are.
I want to actually put everything back in the case.
I'm keeping the armor.
Okay.
Of course you are.
Add glamour studded leather armor to your inventory.
What else was in there? I forget, and I didn't write it down. There were two wands, armor.
3 wands, 1 dagger, and
There's actually 6 wands.
oh,
There's 2 of each. Two of them glow slightly blue, and you feel a little bit of like numbness in your hand when you pick it up, like static electricity. You see one that is shaped, actually splits at the end like a tuning fork, or two that split at the end like a tuning fork, and then you see one that is just a simple like ebony rod, just black with a spiral of silver up the length.
you said 2 were shaped like a tuning fork?
Mm-hmm. Two are shaped like they have faint electrical lines running through them, and two are black with silver up the shaft. Shaft.
So the electrical lines, are those the ones glowing blue?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's what I say too, and I'll say this to Payne. If it ends up being too good to be true, then we track down this person and kill them. As of right now, quite frankly, because of all the mess of you and your family, and then I'll gesture towards SARS, and I'll say, I can't work. So if the money's no good, that'll lead to a double problem, and a problem that falls on you.
That's fair. I really
So
can't.
you can play this, crazy man out in the big city kind of gist. You're going to hell. I'm going to try to figure it out from there.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a pretty fair observation of what's going on. So, I mean, you get the money, right? You can go wherever you want. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about being in the city anymore. You can go elsewhere. It's enough money to set you up for the rest of your life. Easily.
And I do want to clarify, I did not willingly agree to any sort of pact outside of that deal.
That much we actually agree on. Simply, what we spoke of at the table is all that you're bound to. That's it. And there's nothing crazy, all right? I'm not gonna take your soul, okay? That's way above my pay grade.
No.
I'm just making sure that we can be informed of what's going on.
In my experience, when you kill somebody in the city, people tend to be very vindictive.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't think killing the head of the Glenmire family would have them all coming after us?
That's only if you get seen.
Big if.
Get seen.
I mean, you saw us do apparently everything that we've done since we met.
But I've also got special means.
Well, you're not the only one with special means.
That's fair. No, that's a good point. Well, the truth is, I don't care. I really don't care if you get seen. That's really not my problem. But you do your best not to get seen, and then you become fabulously wealthy. But you could also be fabulously wealthy and be a fugitive. I mean, there are ways off this crazy place. You could go to the frontier. I mean, that'll take anybody.
Is there a timetable attached to this offer? And or completion of the offer?
Well, let's say you get it done within the month, and I'll throw in something a little extra. Your choice. You just let me know. Whatever it is, whatever you want, you write it down, I'll give it to you. Simple as that.
How do we let you know?
And how do we know that anything we want you can acquire?
See,
It's pretty simple, Payne. Or, sir.
his head kind of swivels a bit.
Sorry, Garrett's already said my name. It's
He
fine.
did.
Did I?
Yep.
If he's lying, we kill him.
Yeah, easy as that. You kill me. Problem solved.
You and I sell are in two different camps on that.
If he's lying, you won't kill him?
I don't kill people because I don't get what I want.
I
That sounds
kill
like a
people
waste
because
of time.
No, that's fair.
It sounds a bit violent to me.
This is a city of violence. Truly. I mean, have you looked up there? Crazy.
Oh, I
Literally
yes.
built to be violent.
Who designed this place?
Listen, it sounds like we have a little bit of time on this. It's
Yeah. Sleep on it. Think about it.
How do we contact you?
I'll come to you guys. You can just kind of, you know what? I guess I should give you
You'll come
something.
to, so you'll just magically know. What do we think that we need to see the crazy person again?
Yeah. Or you just say it out loud. You say, "Hey, Saurus, got to talk to you." I'll sort of show up, pump brimstone. No.
Wait. That's creepy. All right.
So one of the perks.
Yeah, don't you have a sending stone or something that's not quite so creepy?
Just reaches into his bag.
Offers us the semblance of privacy.
He pulls out a small carved stone. It's square, about yay big. It has a single rune carved on the front, and then on the back it has the carving of a mouth. He slides it over and he goes, "If I don't get back to you, I'm not on this plane. Simple as that. Okay? But say my name 3 times, and I'll show up."
Okay. 3 times. Yeah. That's pain.
Do we have to
you
say
want
bloody, like ahead of it?
Just say your name again.
Bloody Saurus, Bloody Saurus, Bloody Saurus. No,
You get
never
bonus
mind.
points. You get bonus points for red candles. They fucking love red candles down there. I don't know what the deal is. You should check it out. It's kind of crazy. I've never seen one candle maker down there, and they got candles out the ass.
That sounds uncomfortable.
Well, for some it is a punishment, but for the ones they like it. They got to make sure they don't do that to them.
Just to be extra
You don't know
clear,
until you start.
Exactly.
I'd imagine.
Hot wax. All right.
Well, torture is an art. Go on.
Just to be clear, this extra bonus of completing the job, does that apply to each of us, or is that one thing for all of us?
Up to you. As long as you write it down. Otherwise, I can't get it to you.
All right. Well, I need some time to think on this.
I would second that, actually.
I'm ready to go.
Of course you
Perfect. Well, I wish you all the best. Have fun. And if you do get killed, I guess I'll see you around. Then he's going to... You see an arcane red gate begin to pull up around him and then collapse like a dying star. And there's a poof of brimstone and smoke that sort of ripples out from where he was.
I shift back over. Give.
You guys can now actually move out.
Yeah, get
Like, comfortably sit in the booth.
I kind of shove someone's elbow out of my face.
It's been in the side of your head this entire conversation. Man, you guys didn't fight that guy. I'm honestly surprised.
Maybe we should have.
This group doesn't shoot first and ask questions later.
We know better.
That's why everybody has a 20 charisma.
Well, you seem unconvinced.
That is not a good deal.
I agree. It's-
Pain or whoever you are. Is
Listen, it's a unisex name. It's fine. It'll work for both.
You need to be more subtle.
what?
You need to be more subtle.
Again, what?
There's all the jewelry like jingle.
I don't think he can hear you through all the jewelry.
What was it? See, you've made me lose my train of thought. Oh, wow.
All right. Well, what do you think we should do
I was going to
instead?
ask Payne if he's still around, since she has that special eyesight thing.
Look with your special eyes. You look around.
They're just pitch black.
Terrifying. Although they are disguised by the disguise self spell, so they just look normalized to anybody else. But
Except for me doing this.
like Charles Xavier'ing around the fucking room. You do not see nothing pings on your see invisibility.
What a power move to do such a dramatic flourish and then just sit there.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he's gone as far as I can tell.
So,
Okay.
Payne, we take him out. We figure out what the city turns to. This man's clearly insane. Quite frankly, I'm fine to take his money and then feed him to the wolves.
Can I just tell you all that I got a message from my teacher telling me to be at a place this morning, and that's how my day started. And here I am at the end of the day, potentially a part of a contract to kill the head of one of the most powerful families in the city. Forgive me if I feel slightly uncomfortable about that.
That's completely fair.
I that's,
agree.
I mean, I woke up this morning any other day, you know. So
I
understand what
I
you're
need more
saying.
answers about what's going on, and I don't have a mission to be doing any of this, so I may just need to excuse myself and get more answers from someone that I know I can trust. No offense to anyone here. I know you all have had my back this past 24 hours or so, but
Well, and the fact that
this
you're
is
leaving
a lot.
with all you're leaving this group with all the information you've gathered since doesn't really quite bode well with me.
Yeah, Payne, would you mind horribly if we stayed together until we kind of got some more information? I feel like we all are kind of tied together now in this kind of jumbled mess. And it might be good to establish some trust before we ran off on our own.
Oh, you're welcome to come with me if you want, but I know I'm not doing that.
Well, we haven't agreed to
Disclosure.
anything. Well, we all of us except for what's his name?
Well, a point on that, as you can tell by the current face I'm wearing, I'm not a big fan of witnesses or people knowing things about me unless they're complicit in my actions. So I'm recommending that we all do this together as a sign of trust and become famously rich based off of it.
Do you have any idea how hard that task is? It's near.
Yep.
It doesn't sound.
He's sending
easy
us on a
to me.
suicide mission.
I've done enough deals and killed enough people to know that
You've never killed this person.
that's accurate. I've never killed someone more than once.
I actually I need to use the restroom. Would you excuse me, Shaka? And I'll kind of press out of the booth, or do we need to stick together for this too?
I'll slide off the pot down below the table and just kind of like move out of the table.
back up onto it. Yeah.
As she does that, I message Shaka. Can you follow her? And then just like, can you follow her? Maybe do the girl thing.
And then I'd also like to say, if you try to run, I'll find you.
Jesus Christ!
Build trust.
This is so fun. Pony gets up and begins walking towards you see her walk towards the bar. You see her ask a question from a distance, and then you see her begin to walk towards the rear of the...
By the way, with message, is it like...
It's not telepathic. The message does come out of your mouth, doesn't it?
Oh, it does?
But you hear it telepathically. You hear but you say the message like kind of like low, and then it goes to the person, and they hear it.
It's a whisper.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can I hear him say that to Shaka?
What's your passive perception? 16?
Yeah.
You guys are across the table from each other. You definitely heard him say something, and looked in Shaka's direction.
He would actually technically
And
have
then
to
see
point
her
a finger.
follow me.
And you have to point a finger as part of the somatic component. So, like,
I guess you could do
there
that
is-
under the table or something.
Yeah, you know, like, yeah. You know,
Shaka will be like, I could probably use a pit stop too. Scramble after Pain.
Shaka, do you make yourself known as you try to follow Pain, or are you actually attempting to sneak?
No, I'm just gonna make it look natural.
Okay. Yeah, Pain, you're being
hours, so
you're being tailed by a kobold as you make your way outside to a series of three. It's a privy with 3 stalls with doors that are in various states of disrepair, and you see the one. You can see that on the far left is the one with the most door-like door. The other ones appear to have some sort of curtain covering it.
Shaka takes one look at it and goes, I hate public restrooms.
I'll dip into the one with the door.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any like ventilation or windows or anything in this
Yeah,
room?
so the way that they're built is they're about 6.5 feet. They go up 6.5 feet, and then for ventilation, there's about a foot of open space, and then a little peaked roof, so the rain runs off either side. So basically, the way it's built is like posts and then boards, so that there's a gap at the top to let the funk out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want to do is I want to go into the stall and like peek under the the stall to see if she is also in a stall. And then
Are you in a stall, Shaka?
I
mean, if you went there to actually use the bathroom.
I look at them just like, and I kind of like look around and see if I can find one that is remotely serviceable, the least disgusting.
Yep.
And I will go in on tippy toes so that like the least amount of my feet is touching the floor.
To the classic squat over the privy, like using the tail for balance. Yeah, as you're doing the public restroom hover. Pain, what are you doing?
I am going to use minor illusion to make the sounds of
Someone
me in
using the
stall.
restroom.
And I would like to attempt to stealth back out of the restroom.
Make a stealth check. And what's your passive perception, Shaka?
It is 26.
Your passive is 26?
Holy hell.
Yes.
You have a
That
plus
alert?
16?
I think it's a feat, right?
Did you
Yeah, there was
observant or something?
Yes.
Oh my fucking god! What was your stealth check, Pain?
Yeah, it was 24.
Oh
my god!
So close.
That's funny.
Oh.
All right,
Man, we sent the right
You are
person.
quieter than a mouse's fart, and move out through the stall. You even pick up on the door slightly so the old hinges don't creak and close it as the sound of the minor illusion peeing sound is still going on, and you begin to creep away. And Shaka.
Yeah, but as I'm doing this, I'm gonna change myself into like I assume there's more than one person that works at that place that we've seen. There's probably like the bartender and then some other people running around.
You've seen two. You do know that the Kenku was alone in the kitchen, and so far you've only seen the bartender, the tavern keeper, basically.
Okay. Well, I'll transform myself into somebody else and kind of attempt to look around for other exits that are away from the table.
You are, by the way, outside currently. If I made that clear. So the privies they're out the back door. They're about 15 feet. There's 3
perfect.
stalls. They have peaked roofs, right?
Awesome. Okay.
So you were now outside in the pouring rain.
Yeah. I will just attempt
Actually,
to
if
start.
we're outside in the pouring rain. There we go. That's what we're
Previously outside in the peeing rain.
So
Yeah.
you change to
I'll
another
just-
person?
Yeah, I change into another commoner looking person, but a female, younger, you know, and probably like just completely different appearance and voice and all of that stuff, and then just start to walk away.
Okay. It is the middle of the night. It is pouring rain. Shaka, you hear you are sitting in the stall and you're just like cringing, and then you hear the slightest of something squeak on the door next to you, and you feel weight shift inside the room next to you, ever so slightly. And you know that she's leaving.
I will kind of. Is there room above the stall door?
There is, but you might not be able to reach it, being your size.
Okay.
You could jump for it, but it's going to make some noise.
That's okay. I'm not trying to be stealthy. I just want to hang over the top and go. I don't blame you for leaving. It's a horrible idea, and I have no interest in it myself.
So as you kind of grab on and lift, you say this out into the darkness, but I need you to make a perception check with disadvantage. Because it is pouring rain and nighttime. Well, pouring rain, visibility reduced, but you do have dark vision.
Perception is
Not you, Payne. I'm sorry,
Oh.
Shaka.
Shaka,
Shaka
okay.
does. I think you've got a super high perception anyway, so.
Like a 45 bonus.
18 with disadvantage.
18. You are able to spot her as she's walking away. You say that, Payne, you do hear that. Through the pouring rain, you hear this little cobalt voice about 15 feet away as you were walking around the side of the Staggering Giant Inn. You hear her say, I don't blame you for going.
I kind of like pause for a second and look over my shoulder slightly, and telepathically to her, I'll just say, please don't let Cell kill me. And I'll just keep walking.
Okay. Do you move to stop her, Shaka? Or no?
I will not.
Okay. So she passes into the darkness. If you've finished your business, meanwhile, at the table, you guys are sitting around. It's been 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
The average
Goes on
amount of
for
time girls spend in the bathroom.
15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes or so.
All right, I'm checking.
There's like an all-out battle happening in the
Just throwing fireballs and shit.
Has Chaka come in yet?
Shaka is as you stand up at the table. Shaka is. Are you coming in, Shaka? Or are you staying, or are you going?
I will return to the group.
Okay. So as you stand up at about the 15-minute mark, Shaka's coming in through the door, coming around the bend into the darkness where the booths are, and she's without pain.
Did she get away?
Her mentor person called her again. I don't know what it was about, but she said she had to leave.
She say which way she go?
Into the rain? I wasn't paying attention. I was in the stall.
Can I go outside and look for like any sort of tracks or like movement and stuff like that?
Sure.
I don't know if it's like cobble. What should I roll? You want investigation or survival?
That's going to be survival to find the tracks. As you move into the back, and you can see the rain is pounding the ground into mud behind them. By the time you get there, whatever tracks would have been left have been completely pounded by rain. It is submerged behind the Staggering Giant Inn. As you get out there, there's just the sound of pouring down rain all around you, dampening noise, and just a crashing of the rain hitting the water around.
I'm gonna walk back in.
Before he comes back, I ask her, Did you really not see the direction she went?
I look up at Karis. Does it look like I can see through doors or over them?
Well, I do know that you're pretty crafty, so I'm just checking.
And there's just like a little twinkle in my eye.
Okay. I pick a direction and I message, this isn't the way. I'm just like, this isn't how you build trust. And it's not very nice to not build trust.
Oh,
we lost your audio. You know the drill. Technical difficulties.
Just flipping switches here and there.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's like the Death Star.
You should be able to hear me now, right?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I have to unplug it and then mute it.
Yeah.
Or unmute it. For a brief second, Payne, you catch a snip of something. It's like Karis's voice kind of pervades your mind for a brief second, and this is the way, and then it just sort of trails off as he's pointing and casting and pointing and casting, and by the next time he would have turned towards you, you are out of range. So you continue off into the night. We will pick up with you in a couple of minutes, but for now, what would the rest of the party like to do?
Well, we've got a loose end. I'll say as I sit back down.
What do you mean?
I am going to look at Sel. No, you don't, and you will not.
I don't. I wouldn't refer to her as a loose end.
I think she
granted. Granted, we just met her, but she's been rather forthright with us.
And unfortunately, we've done the same back. Quite frankly, she knows more about me than almost anybody in this entire city does. She knows where I work. She knows where I live. That information's out there.
That information is with all of us, and you would chase me down as well?
Depends if you want to keep going with this mission.
I have no desire to do anything to this Quintus. The only Grunmeyer head I want is Saurus.
All right. Well, let's let bygones be bygones, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't agree to anything, and that I'm a little concerned because our friend was the voice of reason when it seems otherwise we might get ourselves into something we don't necessarily want to.
So no one else wants to do this job, is what I'm getting.
I personally would need a lot more information before I went charging in to kill the head of a house. I've done my best to stay off of the radar of all of the families while still making a living here in town.
Fighting's going to continue with us, without us, with us head, Mr. K, without Mr. K. My attitude is, you cause enough of a commotion and you disappear. We'll blame it on Saurus, I don't care. Apparently we can say his name 3 times and he'll show up. Oh, well, he happens to do that in front of a dead body of his father. Probable cause.
I think it would be safe to assume that he is keeping tabs on us and would be aware if we were to do something.
Plotting.
I agree.
This is a very bad idea. I want no part of it. It sounds like no one else wants to be any part of it either. So if you want to do this, it sounds like you will be alone in it.
All right. And then I'm gonna take. I'll need the daggers and wands then.
Oh, I'll
Not
be
take
right back,
long.
guys. Be right back. 2 seconds. Be right back.
Okay.
Talking shit about the DM. This break brought to you by the Arts Department, your one-stop shop for art and fun shenanigans on a stream.
I personally hate how much effort he puts into really fleshing out the world and the characters. That's like the he's
Seriously.
back.
Oh, hi.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt something?
You were. You can go
Do you want me
ahead.
to leave?
Kidding.
Did I miss anything? I mean, as far as no. Did you? Right as I got up, you said you wanted to grab the wands and stuff, or?
Yeah. I
Okay.
wands and daggers back into the case then.
Into the case.
Why is
You're
that?
not taking all of it.
Well, no one else wants to do this job. Looks like I got to do it myself.
You're really gonna do this yourself.
Watch me. Well, you won't be able to.
Except on Twitch.
I will drop the wands in the case. I wish you the best of luck. May all the gods shine upon you. Even though I don't know you, good luck.
Yep. Catch on the flip.
I'm gonna at least try to sleight of hand that dagger.
I know he has. I know she has.
I
No.
don't know where you're gonna sleight of hand it from. I've still got it.
Oh yeah, Karis has it. Well, if he's gonna.
I'm not relinquishing anything.
Okay.
So you're
There's no
going to
reason
take
to.
the payment for the job that you didn't do and won't do.
Well, if it's going to prevent you from doing said job.
Quite frankly, nothing's preventing me from doing this job. What is happening is you're making it more difficult for me.
Okay, so your argument earlier was that we all know about you, and now you know about us, and now you are going to go and kill the head of one of the most powerful families in the city.
Maybe I won't. Maybe I walk outside with all these wands and everything and disappear and you never see me again.
Or what about the sending stone that I have to get a hold of SARS?
Well, that's your problem. Maybe.
Well,
Do you want to go do this job or not?
no, I don't want to go and kill somebody I've never met.
How have you survived in the city for so long?
How? Well, I don't just take the life given by the gods of other beings. It's not. It's. I mean, granted, it's
the word you're
part
looking
of the.
for is wrong.
Pardon me?
I believe the word you're looking for is this is wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong, and I don't know, Sel, why you are so stuck on doing this without getting more information first.
Because there's money involved, because it's going to be wrong no matter what. The fact that this entire city exists is wrong. The fact that there's a crime boss sitting in a tower is wrong. The fact that he's going to kill all these people is wrong. The fact that his son is going to kill all these people is wrong. Everything's wrong, quite frankly. The fact that
So
we're
then,
alive,
quite frankly, wow, that's nihilistic.
and yet here we are, sitting in this goddamn tavern, and I'm looking to get paid.
There's other ways to get paid. And after all, it's
Right.
just money.
All right, I'm going to go.
Sal stands up from the table with. I'm assuming you have the case with you, right?
Yeah.
Sans a dagger.
I promise you, I'll see you again. And then I'll walk out into the rain.
All right.
I do remember that she had mentioned, Payne had mentioned that her teacher was somewhere in the north of the city, so I'm going to start heading towards there.
Okay. So you turn north. You know the city
Did
pretty
I?
well. Did
Yeah,
you
the
go?
first day.
We'll have to go back to the tapes.
Nope.
But for now, yeah, you start heading north.
Yep.
What's the rest of the crew doing?
I look at Karis. Shit. Did I do wrong by mentioning Payne's teacher?
Maybe. I don't know what. Cell is very hard to read. At times he seems like he does good, and then at times he seems very much like he cares less about life than most I've seen.
Well, watching him shank that poor old man is probably a good indication that he does not have any real care for life.
He shanked someone?
Didn't you see him kill the one-armed guy?
No, I saw the one-armed guy fall, but I never saw. Or wait, was I the only one that saw that? Damn it.
No, you did not see it. You came into the room as the guy
that's
was
right.
on the ground.
I think
Yeah.
everybody
Down the
saw it except for
staircase.
Karis.
Except for Karis,
Yeah.
the only one who didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay, that's what
And
I.
it was like, what the fuck? And then Karis showed up and he was just like, hey guys.
What's going on?
What's up with that guy? Just
That
climbing
was a lot
right
of
in.
flights of stairs.
Yeah.
Boy, are my arms tired.
It was the stiff.
Yes, I didn't realize he killed that old man.
He did.
And while I understand the desire to protect his identity, their identity, I'm not really sure, that was going a little far. And if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go and try and make sure that Peyton's safe. And I'm going to slide off the pot and scramble under the table again and run off in the direction that I saw her disappear.
I'm gonna follow her very closely. Amelia, would you like to come with us, please?
Look, you all seem like very friendly people, but Payne had the right idea. I need to do a little information gathering of myself. Is there any way that I could reach you?
Do you have a sending stone, a message, some sort? The range of my. Karis, please hold on a moment. I'm sorry, Shaka, please hold on one moment. Just a moment, please.
I stop and I'm doing what looks like the pee-pee dance and looking over my shoulder.
Wait, so I guess we all know that they're heading north, which I guess is in the same direction that I'm going. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, do I know what direction Shaka went?
No.
How close is she?
Just within 50 feet.
Okay.
You can get a sending out, you know.
Okay. Where are we headed?
I'm not sure. I saw Payne go this way, and I kind of point.
I can see where you are pointing.
She went that way.
Just hurry up and follow me.
Amelia, can we, we're gonna go find Payne.
Of course.
Towards
It
that
might be in the same
direction.
direction.
I'm
I'll follow
gonna
you for now.
change my outfit to, or change my appearance to half orc.
Okay. Male, female?
Female.
Female. Yeah. Passes through the city streets with a case in your hand. You shift. As you pass basically between lampposts with the light streaming down across your form, the next one you pass into the warbling electric light shows the visage of a female half-orc who's wearing loosely fitting clothes. Are you wearing the armor now?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of slid it on at some point. Do you have to attune to that? I can never remember. Nope. Okay. Then it appears to be the clothes of somebody who would live in this quarter. Amelia And Amelia, you head outside with Quinn, turn and look into the darkness. It is pouring rain still. It is about 2 in the morning. You guys have not slept since this morning. Since early. You've been out
in my hideout, right?
Oh, did you guys? Oh, you took a long
We
rest,
took
right? Or was it a
a-
short rest?
We did take a long rest.
There was a long rest. It was during. You guys pretty much slept through most of the day. Yeah, and back into night again. So okay, you guys have had rest within the last 24 hours, so you don't have to worry about exhaustion yet. But it is 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning, and you guys pass out the front door. I'm assuming of the establishment, and you hear a call. Hey, are you gonna pay or what?
I run back in and I just throw him 3 gold.
Oh! 3 gold comes sailing overhead. 2 of them climb to the ground, and she immediately drops down and picks them up. She's like, "What?" As you leave and the door closes behind you. So we will go in the order of people who left the party first. It is about 3 hours later, early morning. The sun is just beginning to think about rising over the horizon. When you make it into the Rose Ward, where Tiramir keeps her holdings. The estate is gorgeous. Tall wrought iron fences surrounded, covered in ivy. You easily hoist and jump over the estate wall and make your way through the lavish grounds that are neatly trimmed, but incredibly utilitarian. Not a lot of frivolous plants or extra trees or any hedges carved like animals that's common in this part of the city. Very utilitarian, very Spartan. As you begin to head to the multi-level complex, the door opens immediately as you approach, and you see the visage of the halfling servant, who stands there. She says, "Hey, welcome. Come on in."
Charge,
Like,
pretty
oh.
much like charge right by her and head straight for Taramir's office or bedroom or wherever she might be.
Taramir would not like to be disturbed. As you just continue going.
I'm like bedraggled and wet and tired.
Trudging up the stairs. As you walk up the stairs, you see immediately a bucket, a mop, and a broom all magically soar past you back down to where you're trudging, and it's doing its best to start trying to clean up. The animated mop and broom are trying to clean up the mess you're making as you climb the stairs. You turn to the end of the hall and you head for the master's study. And as you get to the door, it is locked.
Taramir! Boom, 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 boom. Taramir!
You hear as the door opens, and from across the room, sitting at the window, is a lithe, high elven figure, pale-skinned, almost completely white hair that's almost translucent. She's got a long, narrow nose, high cheekbones. She's almost frail in her appearance, and she has around her long robes that are pulled almost like a shawl as she sits by the window. "Hey, welcome home."
I need answers right now.
What do you mean?
Why the hell would you send me to that place? And did you know all those people? And I almost died a couple of times. And there's a rock that disintegrated people, and I'm just gonna like haphazardly, in bits and pieces, tell her parts of what happened throughout the night, in a long run-on sentence.
I knew about the assassination attempt, and that's why I sent you there. I thought you might actually could use an ally or two in the city, but I had no idea about this rock, this stone. Tell me more about it. She casts a hand, and you see from the far side of the room, drawers begin to open, and books begin to sail out as she begins holding and skimming, dropping them down. That's not right.
Wait. So you knew who was gonna be there and what was gonna happen?
No, I knew of someone who would be there, yes. But I did not know the extent of whatever this plot is. That is all new to me. By the way, how's the staff? Did you get a chance to cast anything without it? How did it go?
I have the piece of paper in hand of that message that she sent me of like, be here at this time. You're like, do you think you could be a little more explicit in what is going on before you send me into a lion's den?
Payne, you have to learn to improvise. This is the most important lesson I could possibly teach you. You will not always have all the information going into a conflict like this. I knew that something would be happening. I sent you there to investigate. I knew that you'd find allies. Clearly you found allies because you're still alive, but I don't know the full extent of the plot because not even I have all the information. That's what I'm trying to teach you. You will not always have all of the information. Now, how did the staff perform?
Really good. Okay? Good.
Right. If you have any trouble with it in the future, let me know. And remember, this is very temporary, okay? It will serve only to harness your powers for now, but do not let it become a crutch. That is the most important thing I can really impress upon you with this item.
Hermir,
How are you? Have you rested? Do you need to eat?
Yes, but I have too many questions to calm down.
Tillin, bring tea.
Listen, who was it that was there that you knew was going to be there?
A certain scion. Someone who found their way into the family much like you did. Someone whose life is, unfortunately, so long as Vermeer is out of town, constantly in danger. And so I sent you to meet a friend. I'm sorry that it was more dangerous than my intel led me to believe. I accept responsibility for that.
What's the name of this scion?
Her name is Amelia. She's been...
Aha.
She's a bit of a favorite of a certain couple of folks within a very well-to-do family in the city, the Lumiere. Perhaps you've heard of them.
Yeah, I guess
Now,
I have.
I have had a few dealings with them in the past. They're not all good people, but there are some who do good within the family, and those are the ones we must protect. Unfortunately, they're very few and far between, and they become fewer every year. This Amelia is a good one, and I want her to stay safe, and I want you to be safe. And I also want you to be able to see what your training can produce if you stay disciplined. She's as good of a spellblade as any who's ever walked the face of this city.
She was very impressive.
She does not have any allies. At least hopefully, until she met you today. So, tell me more about this, who did you say that you met at the tavern?
Well, there was Amelia, and there was Karis.
Karis Tolf, you said.
I didn't catch his last name, but he's a faun.
Very few of those in the city. They tend to stick out.
I've never seen one before, and it's really kind of beautiful in a way. Like that's just the word that I'd
Darling,
use.
Most creatures of the Fae are magnificent, to say the least.
And there was this. It's really. She was really nice. Her name was Shaka, and I trusted her, and then there's someone named what was his name? And I'll go and look through my notes, and I'll say someone named Veritin.
Varitan. Elven?
Oh,
Half elven?
I think so. He was
Well,
he looked human, actually, to me. He was older. He had a beard.
well, perhaps it was an adopted name or something. So Veritan's a very elven name. It's not common for humans or others to have a name like that. So,
Oh, then maybe he was.
but tell me more about this other character. You said that. Did you tell her, by the way, about Clintus or about Saurus?
Yeah. I mean, like I would have kind of explained how the whole day ended as well.
Well, you did not see Saurus because Saurus is dead. But you may have seen somebody who was either disguised himself as him, or has perhaps even taken. Likely they're just disguising themselves to sort of add to the illusion and perhaps hide their own actions in the city. But Saurus is very dead. He's been dead for quite some time.
I knew something was off about that guy. He just seemed very dangerous. Now, do you know who would have wanted Mr. Glenmire dead? Like dead? If it's not his son?
Well, most of the head houses in the city would love to see Clintus breathe his last, but we know that this is politics, and we need to be very careful about those who kill openly or otherwise. You see, the tyrant you know is often better than the tyrant you don't. And you can form alliances with someone that you know when you understand them. And we've had a lot of time to understand Clintus. The Glenmire are monsters, but they're useful monsters. And we understand these monsters, and that's the most important part of this. Anyway, let's take a look at the tablets of Rue, you said, right?
Yeah. There's this crazy rock that vaporized people when they touched it, and I didn't obviously touch it, and I think there was I don't even know how you would move that thing, or what it'd be used for.
Well, this is another learning opportunity. Come with me. She stands up and she heads over to her study. As you and her are studying, we're going to jump.
Do you mind if I
over-
take a quick nap before we do this?
No time. Let's go. Cheers, tea. As you guys, as you head to study, we're going to jump to Cell, who you are tracking to the city. It is dark. You are a little behind, and you can feel that you're losing the scent as you pass through the city. Make an investigation check.
Uh, 20, not natural.
20. You've got a good head for this sort of thing. You've had to track a lot of people. You knew that she was heading. You knew that she said that she lived somewhere in the north of the city. You think that's one of two main districts for somebody who appears to be at least well equipped.
Can I look if I've ever been in the north of the district doing a job in the past? Do I know of any restaurants or anything like that might have had deliveries from my employer, like with contact places and stuff like that?
Very interesting. Yes, and do you mean literal catering, or do you mean front catering?
Front catering, or like any way, because like that's obviously like a front to just disseminate information,
Yep.
bring people in and out. So, would I know of any restaurants in the area? Can I Yelp it? Or
I'm thinking because
lunch preferably, but I'll take whatever.
I want you to roll an investigation check, but this isn't you. This is actually, I want this to basically be a representation of how much intel you gathered from working with Tannel. Because go ahead.
Oh, 28.
you are not supposed to know about any place at all. You only know about Tannel's headquarters, and the fact that you were passing through the city on a job and you saw a familiar caterer run into one of these townhouses is like, if Tannel ever knew that, he would have cut you loose, and so you kept that to yourself. And so you move into the northern part of the city in the Rose Quarter, or the Rose District, towards the south end, and you find your way towards one of the catering places that is closed for the night. Do you want to break in?
Before I do that, can I empty out the contents of the box and like just put a stash in various parts of me? If the gun is big, or the staff,
it's basically a gun, but yeah, it's like a rifle. The staff,
if the
rifle.
broken ass staff can like fit on the inside of the jacket, like so it's concealed still. Have you ever seen that?
You can change the glamour armor so that it's a little bulkier, and so it still conceals the things on you.
It's like that scene from Bowling from Columbine is honestly what I'm trying to go for, where it's like a kid in like a hoodie, and he just like pulls out like a shotgun and like 2 pistols.
You have those strapped to your body with the glamour leather kind of covering over top of that. So that it conceals the weapons. They're going to be awkward to try to pull if you tried to like hot swap them, like try to switch to the daggers and the wands and this. But they're concealed. They're reliably concealed. They will use the DC of the armor itself, which I think is 15 or something. So you walk through the city. You have made your way to the catering place. You found an alley to duck into, and at this hour, it's not too hard to find yourself hidden from prying eyes. You lash all these weapons and things to yourself. Everything sans the dagger. And then you head to the catering place. It is closed and it is dark, and the windows are currently shuttered.
Is there anything around back?
You head around back. There is indeed a service door amidst piles of crates, and the smell of refuse kind of hits you as soon as you go back. The smell of spoiled food and a little bit of human waste.
Is there any sort of like secret knock or anything that I would know from Tannel that I like normally do?
You know the one for his place. You can try his place.
I'll try that.
Okay. You have a series of 3 rapid taps, three slow taps, and 2 rapid taps. There's a pause, and then the door slowly opens, and you see the familiar face of one of the halflings from Tannel's place. And he looks at you wide-eyed, and then he just opens the door, confused, as you begin to pass inside.
I'll walk in and say, "Is he here?"
Yeah? How the hell did you find this? But wait, are you still disguised as the?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's right. You're not you. So knocks, and the lets you in, but it's just like casing you the whole time. No, there's no familiarity with the face. It's just like look of complete confusion. He pulls a couple steps back, and he gives a 2-tone whistle. Sounds almost like it's coming through 2 parts of his mouth, a high and a low. And you hear the sound of feet upstairs. You hear heavy footfalls coming down the stairs, and you see the wide, stooped shoulders, the burly arms, and the tired face of Tannel as he comes around the side with a Cloudmaker slung over his front. And he says,
"Hey, friend." And then I'll change my face back to Cell.
"Cell, you are blowing my fucking cover. Get upstairs."
All right.
Heads up. You guys head into one of the back rooms, and this whole place is, by the way, it looks almost. They might actually be squatting here. There are makeshift beds in a bunch of the rooms. Stacks of paper, stacks of delivery bags that are all empty in a single room that's been turned into like a makeshift like runner area. It doesn't look like Tannel has. It seems like the last 24 hours for him has been about 10 years. He looks like he's aged. His hair seems grayer. His skin seems to sag. He is stressed. And he turns to
hard times.
It's never been this stark before. How do you know of this place?
You know where I live, I know where you live. It's how it works in this business, I guess.
You're wasted as a fixer.
Well, I got another job coming in. Figured I could save both of us.
What do you mean?
Well, the way I see it is you've done a lot of good for me, a lot of kindness for me over the past couple of years, and got an opportunity, a big score. Just need a little bit of your help. Maybe we could get out of this.
He turns and says, privacy, please. As you see the second halfling now, as he drops invisibility with his crossbow in the room that you're in, he says, all right, boss. He walks out, closes the door behind him. In the center of the room is a severely beaten wooden desk. He sits down in a folding chair behind it, pulls up a crate for you to sit on, puts his arms on the table, sighs. What's going on? What's the take?
I'll tell him about killing Mr. K and why I need to find Pain.
Loose ends are not good. And you, I assume you don't trust her as far as you can throw her.
I'm saying I don't know. She seems like a good person, but again, like what you're saying, loose ends, not so good.
And good people try to do good even when it's not in the interest of the people around them. And that's a concern. That's a huge concern.
That's how it goes.
Or are you willing to kill her if it comes to that?
We'll see.
Let's call that Plan D. Do you think you can convince her to actually help you with this job?
That would be ideal. Listen, the whole reason we got into this in the first place, all of this business, is not to cause pain or to hurt good people. It's like we look outside and we see terrible people doing terrible things every day. I don't want to kill her if I don't have to. At the same time, loose end is a loose end.
Yeah.
She knows you and me and everything that we do. So if she could become complicit in this, taking out the head of a family, that's big. She can't tell that to anybody.
10 years. 10 years we were underground. No one ever suspected anything. No one ever found us. No one ever traced us. 10 years.
It's been a hell of a 24 hours.
We cannot afford to not have her on our side. Simply put, she needs to protect. Her interests need to align with our interests. Because if they don't, and she lets something slip, it's one less good person in the city that we had to kill. And that's, as you said, not what we do. I sent the rest of my runners and my fixers to ground. It's just you and me. I don't have the network I had. I'm diminished. I'm practically squatting here. I don't know what help I can give you outside of just a place to crash, or, I don't know, words that you can bounce off of.
Have you heard of anybody who might be taking up students in this area? Anybody, any sort of teachers, any?
There is someone not too far from the college who, I mean, intel's not great up here. You see a lot of weird things. There's been a sorcerer training at night, not too far from the rose gardens that surround the Fairford College of Eloquence. I don't know if it's your person. It might not be. But she's at least somebody who's training who might fit the description of the person you're talking about.
Well,
but if it's not that lead, it's dead.
If it's not that lead, we're dead.
Yeah.
Off I go. And then I'll say, by the way, you need a better desk. And then I'll-
Buy, sell. As you walk away, the floorboards underneath you creak as you push out into the room where both halflings are still standing. They just give you a nod. You continue up.
And then, I'm going to say, if you're going to, I will point to the one who was invisible and say, if you're going to try invisibility, make sure to shower beforehand. I can smell you before I walked in. And then I'll walk out.
As you leave. I told you. You head out back into the rain again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to, as you pass through the doorway, the back door into the rain, pouring down around you, we'll hop over to the Somerset Ward, where just returning home to a massive, tall tower, an estate like no other in this part of the city, is Amelia. As you know, the bottom doors are locked, and your people coming in and out of the base door is not always recommended. So, how would you like to get to your quarters?
She has a secret way into her quarters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that would have been preferable.
You find your way. There's a bit of a perimeter wall around the estate that you found access to. Pushed in through those, walk on the side. You jump from the top of the wall and slide across a series of roofs that then lead you to a back alley with no other way in. Just a dead back alley that was created with dead ends at either end. So you walk down this alleyway. You see a makeshift ladder that's been propped up against the side of another building. As you continue to move through this labyrinth, this acrobatic labyrinth, climbing now this makeshift ladder to another rooftop, and then climbing up again another 2 stories to a balcony. You pass through the door into your quarters. They lie dark and cold, as no one was expecting your return.
What time of day is it?
It is 4 in the morning.
Okay. And how long did it take for me to get here?
About 3 hours.
Okay.
You were booking it across the city, though.
Right. First thing she needs is a bath. So do that. Nice glass of wine.
There's a clawfoot tub that actually has some semblance of indoor plumbing, although mostly it's heated through tinkering and alchemical means. You draw the bath. You pour yourself a bottle of wine from your own reserves. You lay down into the tub, wine in your hand, sigh out the stress of the day.
Just chill for a bit. And are Saurus's quarters within the same?
Mm-hmm. They're within the same wing, basically.
Okay. She's just gonna relax for a good bit of time before she has to go talk to her.
Yeah, about 30 minutes or so.
Would she be up at this hour, I guess? Or
you're not sure. You're not sure for certain whether or not she'd be awake. You don't know Saurus too well. To be totally honest, you pass her from time to time. She's always been cold, never said more than a few words to you up until recently.
Sure. So I guess I'll start heading there now.
Okay. You dress, head to her quarters, which are a good 2 floors higher than your own. You give a knock on her quarter doors, and a tall gentleman, half elven, slicked back blonde hair, thin mustache that is actually brown, and almost sallow features, opens the door. Ah, Lady Amelia. Lady Amelia, he announces you as you begin to pass in. At the far end of the room, sitting at a long desk, papers stacked around her. In her evening wear, not dressed for battle, is Saurus. your adopted sister. She sits across the desk. She has a small pair of gold spectacles on her nose. As she's looking down at some paperwork, there is a quill moving across the paperwork quickly, and she appears to be signing papers and moving them aside. Working basically, you guess from this, she may be the head of the household, as she's like working through all these estate papers. Amelia, come in. Welcome.
Dear sister.
Dear sister, indeed. How was your night?
Well, I have had quite the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a lot of questions for you.
I'm sure that you do.
First things first, she takes out the copied ledger and she slides it over to her. There's what you want.
Done. You are overperforming. I would have preferred the original, but a copy. We can leave it in their possession. Good call.
So, what's so important in that ledger that you want? And why was I sent for it?
Mostly it's a record of all the places we should have been a couple of months ago. But it also allows us to look at patterns. Someone's moving something into the city. We need to know what it is if we're going to maintain any semblance of control.
Would this something be of importance for you?
Everything is of importance to me when it relates to the family.
Fair
It
enough.
relates to the family. How were the assassins, by the way?
Why were they sent there?
What kind of sister would I be if I didn't have sent assassins after you?
To try to kill me?
Occasionally, I need to make sure that you're getting proper training. If you're not getting proper training from Vermeer, then certainly you're going to perish, and I can't have you. I won't have you perish under my watch, so I'll make sure I'll send the stupidest assassins I can to make sure that you're taken care of.
Funny thing about that, there were other people there as well.
Really?
And a girl that looked very much like me.
Huh. You don't say. What was her name?
Before I give her that, can I make an insight check on her, like her mannerisms on whether or not it seemed like a coincidence?
Mm-hmm. Make an insight check.
19.
She seems genuinely surprised.
Her name was Payne.
Uh-oh.
What happened? Oh, she's back.
You see her look up from the work that she's doing, and just glares across the table at you, and then the expression disappears, and she goes back to her work. Never heard
Did
of
I
her.
notice that?
Yeah, with your insight of 19 previously, yeah. Haven't heard of her. I'm sure she's a nice whatever.
Couldn't be just a coincidence, don't you think? There were other people there as well.
Yes, so odd. Who did you talk to before you made your way to the den?
No one.
Odd that there'd be other people there when only a few of us should know about the exchange.
I agree. She kind of like glares.
It sounds to me like we need to find out who is leaking information.
Shouldn't you know that already?
I do my best to appear like I know everything about everyone, but even I have a couple of blind spots, which is why you're here. And as long as your brother is out of town, you will not be babied on my watch. You will be working and earning your keep. You think we send you just because we're Lumiere, we can send you to that college for free? It costs money. So,
You do also own the place. Under her breath.
yes, but we cannot simply pay ourselves out of our own pocket all the time. It's not healthy. Here's what you're going to do. Work with these people, whoever they are. Find out which one of them is the mole or the rat, and push your way up the chain.
What makes you think these are the people that are leaking information?
Well, one of them got information that I did not give them. That's the problem. So whoever that person is, I don't personally care how you do it. You can choke the one that you saw until they give you a name, and then you can choke that one until they give you a name, and then you can choke that one until they give you a name. I frankly don't care how you do it, but you will eventually need to give me names. That's when the real work can start. Now, what else happened? What happened after the dead?
Well,
This whole time, she's only looked up twice to make eye contact with you, and she's just continuing with paperwork.
After the den, we followed a few bootstrappers to the wharf and made our way to a warehouse.
I assume the ledger led you to the warehouse, is that correct?
It did.
That makes sense. Judging from what you've given me... Oh! Ballsy. They've made a few drops in the Somerset ward as well. Right under our noses.
Did I read that before she gleaned that? Like I gleamed through the.
Yeah, okay. You gleaned through it, and you're like, oh, SW, Somerset ward, and it's like basically like a list of dates, a list of places, and then a series of what the cargo was and a rune. And so, what was in that crate that was so important?
Wow. It seemed like it was an assassin kit meant for something very, very dangerous.
Now you have my attention. Assassin kit. From outside of the city, I assume.
It would appear so.
Untraceable, at least until they've been handled the first time by an identifier. Someone is well trained. What else did you find?
Well, you know of the... Well, I guess, would she have thought that Saurus is dead as well? Like, before, like, having that encounter with him and knowing what she knows, would she also be like, wait, this dude's supposed to be dead, right?
Well, you know that he disappeared.
Right.
You know he disappeared. You don't know what the story behind his disappearance was.
How much do you know of Saurus Glinmire?
Quite a lot. Go on.
Well, what do you know of him?
Something of his. Well, I know that he's the pariah of the Glinmire family. The pariahs of the pariahs. He's a interesting sort. We had
do you know
a
where he is?
couple of years back.
Do you know where he is now?
As far as I know, he's still in the lower planes. Took a
What
lot
does
of
he
work to
look
get back.
like?
She sits and thinks for a minute. Tiefling, black hair, red skin, tall horns. Not particularly handsome, not particularly ugly. Just a red tiefling. If I recall, he had a bit of a penchant for leather. So, why? Did you meet someone fitting the description?
I may have. He could be him, could not be him, but he came with a very interesting proposition.
I'm listening.
Well, apparently he was after the assassin's kit as well.
So, Glinmire Assassin Kit. They should have their own... The Glinmire don't need to go abroad for assassin kits. They can make their own. What? This is an inside job. Who within the Glinmire do the Glinmire want dead?
And she like makes eye contact and like
No. Oh. This is good. This is real good. You are hereby contracted. The executor is me. The contract is kill Clintus Blindmeyer. Use any means at your disposal. I will requisition you as needed for material components. Feel free to deputize some folks as needed, but keep in mind that they will need to be dealt with at the end of the job. Loose lips, sink ships. Make sure you have your requisitions to me no later than 1 week's time. Are we agreed?
Before I agree to this, what business is it of yours to have him killed?
I have never been a fan of Mr. K. I found him rude, brutish, and he's only gotten worse over the years. I say if we get rid of him, maybe one of the other more agreeable types on the council will replace him. And then we can really start to move forward in time.
Based on my knowledge of Clintus, what do I know of him? Is that kind of
virtually nothing?
Nothing.
He's one of the folks who has not been seen for a couple hundred years. As the heads of the family have grown more powerful, they've receded more and more and more into the higher echelons of society. The man who adopted you, you've never met.
Mm-hmm.
The closest you've ever come is his son and his daughter, the daughter which you're dealing with now. And so he's been behind closed doors for centuries.
Mm-hmm. Well, what more information could you give me to help me in this contract? Building layouts, number of men that he has at his disposal.
It will take me a small bit of time, but I will get you a contact with some information, perhaps a blueprint.
I frankly had enough of your contacts.
This one, I promise, I will not send assassins after you when you meet them.
Kind of rolls her eyes.
Sister's honor.
That means nothing. Fine.
Well, then we are agreed. If there will be nothing else, I will get back to my paperwork. She just stares flatly at you.
Stares back. She gets up and walks away.
Good. Goodbye. Head back down. Door closes. Oh, of course, thank you for visiting. Door shuts behind you. You head back to your quarters.
And we're gonna go back. Yeah, there it is. Look at, we made it back. Hello, everybody.
Nailed it.
Break, got some food. We're no longer hangry assholes, except for Dan.
Let's all come back together.
Another successful break, guys. We nailed it.
We did it. We did the break.
Oh my god. I didn't think we would do it. And all these haters didn't think we would do it.
They said it couldn't be done. They said you couldn't come back after a 10-minute break, and they were wrong.
We did it, guys.
One step closer to syndication.
I'd like to be our sponsor, McDonald's.
Oh,
this is D&D.
That actually reminds me, Dan. Who was our sponsor this week? We gotta get through the roll real quick.
Our sponsor is Dick's Sporting Goods. No, not Dick's Sporting Goods. That's an actual store. Dick's Sporting Goods. There's an S at the end of Sportings.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Their tagline is legally different.
So I just want to say thank you, Dick's Sporting Goods, for legally different for sponsoring this week. We love your products, which are suspiciously familiar to us, though we're not quite sure where we've seen them before in their exact.
Wait, it's just. I thought it was just a bag of dicks.
No. You're thinking
that's Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, that's Dick's Sporting, and then comma good with an exclamation point at the end.
Yeah.
But if you need a place for low cross balls, low cross sticks, base cat balls, any of that, Dick's Sporting Goods is the place for you. And
Dick's Sporting Goods, they are the finest, second finest,
super high quality
sporting goods.
Third finest. Yeah.
Well,
top 10 finest.
The copy says second here. All right, let's just stick to the copy here.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Do you guys want to play some D&D?
Yeah.
This is part of it.
So,
Sorry, we have to do these.
I'm sorry. Yeah, this really is going to be a canon thing. This is like every time we come back from a break, it's just going to be us totally fucking off.
It'll be a new sponsor every week.
Back into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I could have sworn my camera was off when I was fucking off.
Oh.
Well, for everybody except for me, I appreciate that.
Well, so you guys had the group of you had taken to your various duties, trying to tie up your own loose ends throughout the night.
Cut up.
Really?
Sel had gone to the Rhodes Ward in search of Payne and also coming across his old employer, Tannel. Amelia had returned to the manor in the Somerset Ward, where she met with her sister and got some more information. Payne had returned to her mentor to inform her of the happenings of the last 24 hours, but then that leaves us with both Karis and Shaka, who have been tailing Sel through the night. So, passing through the streets, tailing him as best you can. First, I need perception checks, with disadvantage because of the rain and because of his disguise.
With disadvantage.
That is correct.
Well, fuck.
That's a
14.
15 on disadvantage.
15.
And 14.
You guys, you think you track him for the first 30 minutes or so, tailing behind a mid-30s half-elf that you think you've seen him turn into before. As you get closer, you see them duck into another tavern. They sidle up to the bar. It's not them. The posture's wrong. The nervousness looking around isn't there. You followed the wrong guy. You guys head back out into the night, pouring rain. It's still only about 2:30 in the morning. You guys still have more time to look, if you want.
Shaka, this might be fruitless. That I'm not very good at I mean, generally I would be good at this, but it's the rain and everything. I don't have any solid leads on this. I can't look for tracks. I'm better at tracking, obviously. But
Do you remember where Payne said her mentor was?
can I do a history check on this one?
Yeah.
19.
You pretty much recall what she had said, that it was somewhere north of the city, but she wasn't specific when she said it. In fact, I don't know if you've ever given your mentor's name either, Bane, have you?
I think only to Amelia.
Only to Amelia? Okay.
Yeah, just.
It's the north of the city, but the north of the city is, I mean, it's pretty broad. We could head that direction, but I don't know if we're gonna find anything.
I'd rather try than not. I don't trust what Sel's going to do.
So, are you saying find her for her own protection?
I failed Mohawk. I am not going to get hurt. The one thing she asked of me was to make sure that Cell didn't kill her. And I think I fucked up and sent him directly after her. I thought I was lying. I thought it was misdirection. But now I'm not sure.
Don't beat yourself up. I'm sure everything will work out. Let's head there. And by there, I mean north.
You guys pass through. You guys pass through the rest of the city. You pass through the market district, which is dark at this hour. You pass further north. You find yourselves passing into portions of the Somerset ward. It's actually elevated higher than the rest of the city, as there are various staircases with beautiful topiary and hedges and golden polished brass gateways. It's a really gorgeous part of town. Tons of white stone, tall buildings, most of them multiple stories. Everything just seems a little taller in this part of town. And if any people were out, you'd see that they stood a little taller too. You pass
so there's nobody around at all?
Not at this hour. It is about... It's edging... to get to that part of town, it would take you up until about 3:30, 3:45 in the morning. And you walk into the Somerset ward, and you have no leads. You may have gone in the wrong direction. You're not totally sure if this is even the right part of town.
Is there now I'm trying not to like metagame, so I'm trying to find a way to phrase this. Is there like a centralized area, like a square or something that has like a broader view of the surrounding section of the city?
There's a Centennial Square that is not far from where you are. It's probably a 10-minute walk to the west. Now that you've pushed far enough north into the city, It's basically a large public park that is tiered almost like a ziggurat, and then flattens out at the top with a monument. You can head to that part of town to see if you can get maybe a better vantage point, or
what I want to. So, Shaka, tell me if I'm crazy. What if we use message from the 4 points of this park? So from one on each corner, because we know that the park is kind of centralized. If I went over here and I pointed a message in that direction, and then pointed a message in that direction, and then the opposite direction, just trying to cover as much area as quickly as possible, maybe we can get a message to her, and she will respond. And we can at least let her know that it's probably not safe.
I would say that is not crazy.
Okay. Then let's try that.
All right.
I'll help.
You guys climb the monument. In the dark, storming rain. It is slick. Just give me a fairly low DC acrobatics or athletics to get to the top of this thing reliably.
Can I actually take us up there with Dimension Door?
Of course. Yeah, that's an easy way. You go to the top of the monument.
I like that. I wish I knew that.
I've got like one little kobold hand on his knee. Like the child with the Mandalorian.
Yeah. You guys,
I know you hate that reference, Autumn.
You were a willing person, but you weren't an aware person in the spell. So you're just like, whoa! And all of a sudden you get to the top of the like falling out of the purple gateway. It is
okay.
The way that being above the ground in this part of the city amplifies the sounds of the city is almost unnerving. There's something acoustically relevant about where you are, and you almost feel like you can hear further throughout the city as you are now above a lot of the lower ended buildings that block out a lot of the sound from traveling.
Can I make a sight check and see if I can maybe see where I see lights and windows and that sort of thing?
Yeah, you can. Make it with disadvantage.
Okay. This is investigate, or this is
perception.
Perception.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Sweet. 20, not natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a lot of lights on this late at night. Almost all of them are off. But you do see distantly a single manor in the Rose Quarter, lifted up higher than some of the other buildings. Beautiful, stately. You could say from this distance, unadorned, Spartan. It's the only manor in that part of town with the lights still on. However, in this area around you, there are quite a few.
Okay.
It's one district over, which puts it at about 30 minutes away from you. But you're kind of on the edge.
How many feet is that?
It's like a couple of miles.
Okay.
So 3 miles, I think.
So I want to turn around away from that district and try message towards each one of the light sources behind us. And
does it go to a recipient? Like, are basically random people just
no,
getting
it has to,
or it has to be somebody you know?
It has to be someone I know. It's like it's intended. There's an intended person.
Got it. Okay.
And if
Do you have to be able to see them?
No, not with message. Just the direction of where they are.
Yeah.
You ping each house as you're standing there, whispering under your breath, and ping each house, and you get no response from any of them.
Okay. Shaka, there's no response, and that manor over there, that I think, if we head towards that, maybe we can try. But we've got to be closer, so we should probably go that way.
So you guys hop down from the monument. Do you want a dimension door down?
Press down.
Yeah.
You guys are now at street level again.
A warning next time. Just a small warning. Just like tap me or something. Just so that I can
with one eye
maintain my dinner.
As you look across this part of the city, you are basically on either end of an urban valley. So this part of the city is high. The far end of the city is high, where Rose Manor stands. Rose Manor is what you know to be the barony, the seat of power in Marn. Although how much power is actually in that seat, probably not too much. But you know the manor is that direction, and you also know that this manor with the lights on that you see is much closer than that. But it's on a slight rise in either direction. If you were to look at it almost like a cross section, you'd see, the tall buildings on this side that you're currently at, with the ziggurat kind of in the center of that part of town, and then down into a deep valley of almost single floor buildings that drop down almost like San Francisco-esque streets and stairways, and then rises again to the Rose Ward, which has its own wall with multiple entranceways throughout around its sort of thing. You can also see from this distance, much further than the manor that you pinged, a massive, almost parliament-style structure that's known as the College of Eloquence, which you may have actually studied at, depending on your background. You guys ready to hit the road?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're just gonna head that way as quickly as possible.
You got it. So while you guys are now drenched, soaking wet, cold, make your way through the city as Cell, you arrive in the Rose Quarter, not far from the manor that Tannel had tipped you off about. You are across the street, lights are on, beautiful grounds, almost bare, more like a sparring yard than say some noble's fancy. The gates are high in front, made of strong-looking metal. and it's about 100 feet to the door of the manor.
Can I
from the gate to the front of the house, not from where you're currently standing.
I'm gonna change shape to be what looks like a very like sickly person in fancy clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Just like any half elf that I've like seen. And do I see or hear anybody inside the manor?
How close are you getting?
I'm gonna walk up to the gates.
Make a perception check.
Pull up to the gates, actually.
Make a deception or performance, whichever.
I'll pop off a deception.
Okay.
23. I can't roll lower than a 23 on a deception.
It's pretty damn convincing, that hobble. About halfway across the street, you've already become accustomed to the limp that you received from a war wound more than 20 years ago. You still remember the bastard who shot you. As you hobble across the way up to the gate, make your perception check.
$21.
I knew it.
With
Sebastian's a vampire.
With disadvantage. I actually I am bleeding. Weirdly, it's like I was like describing something. It was absentmindedly just like picking at something on my arm, and now I'm like.
I remember the bastard who shot you.
It was you.
21.
Was that with disadvantage?
Oh no, let me do that.
And you're rolling to hear, correct?
Yes. Yes, 21. You muted again.
It's like the half eye roll.
Yeah, there we go.
There
It is.
Yeah. 21. You don't hear. You do hear voices, but you can't pick them out through the ring. But I mean, with a roll of 21, you can definitely hear voices coming from the second floor.
I'm gonna start rattling the gates and yelling help.
Hey, from outside, you faintly hear as you are deep in research with Tyranir. I need you to actually make an Arcana check.
Four.
I never thought I'd see these there. I need more time to get information on these tablets. I thought I had my notes here and I must have been wrong. Maybe they moved or maybe they were taken. I'm sorry, Payne. I thought I'd have more for you here.
Terramir, aside from these tablets, this hit that whoever it was wants to take out, I mean, do you think it's right? Do you agree with it?
It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. I don't want Clintus to be alive any more than anyone else does in this city who doesn't trace their bloodline directly from him. But I don't know if killing him is the way to go. Here's what I think. I need you to get more information. I need you to stay with these people. Find out as much as you can about the Glenmires and find out who this pretender Saurus really is. I think if we find out whoever is pretending to be Saurus, I think we'll find out who's really behind this. And that's where the threads will truly begin to unravel.
Is there anything else I can find out for you about the tablets? I mean, I don't understand how it's all connected. Or is it?
Neither do I. The tablets are the odd. The tablets are the odd one. I don't understand the connection between the two yet. Perhaps he owns more of these tablets. And then you hear the sound of help! Of the gates rattling outside.
I'll go
She
to the window.
She gives you a look, and then you guys both go to the window. Make perception checks. Gonna be real hard to see what's out there, but go ahead and make them with disadvantage to the rain.
Would it be a straight roll because I have dark vision?
No, because it's not the darkness that's affecting your vision. It's the rain.
Right. That's how it. Perception. Oh, disadvantage. Oh, God damn it. An 18 and a 4. So that is a 10 with disadvantage.
It is judging from the posture, it is a sickly man, and he is in dire straits. Let me roll for Tiramir and see what she sees. Is that an old man?
I know what I'm making out.
We have to help him. But on your guard. Then she moves across the room, almost like a float across the room. Waves as the door opens. She calls out, but then waits. There's no sound coming from inside her manor. And then there's the sound of glass breaking rooms away. She says, Therese? She begins to move back into the room. And from across the way, you see a door begin to open at the far end of the hallway. She throws a hand out and it slams shut. She pulls back and closes the door to the study where you and her both are. From your perspective, Cell. With your 21 from earlier, shaking the gates, you shouting, help! You see 3 figures in black run across the grass, and then with superhuman strength, leap straight through the window on the westmost side of the building, as they just disappear into the hole that was created. Amelia, what are you doing? She's back in the bath.
Yeah.
Glass of wine.
Well, I'll get to that tomorrow.
Long rest.
They should be fine for at least an hour or two.
What's the worst that could happen?
Saurus did say that she would get back to me when?
Sarah said that she'd get back to you with the requisitions, in a week's time.
Okay.
Basically, gather the things you needed that you personally need. Speak to the quartermaster for requisitions if you need things that are immediate, but bigger ticket items will be to you by the end of the week.
Sure.
So,
okay.
If you requested some kind of armaments or weapons or something, they would be ready for the end of the week. But basic stuff like components and change your clothes, and if your gauntlet was damaged, she can help you out with that stuff now.
Payne did tell her of Tiramir, but did she tell her where they're located or no? I don't remember.
I don't know. Did you? Hey, I don't think that you did.
I don't think you said where.
But you know who Tiramir is.
Yes. Is. Like, she's heard the name before, right? But she doesn't. Like, she's never met her before.
Right. Exactly. She's from Amelia's perspective. She's as much of a mystery as Saurus is, honestly.
Well, in any case.
But if she was in the Somerset ward, you'd probably know. She'd have some sort of holding.
Right. In any case, she knows that at the very least the group needs to regroup. So she'll go back to her quarters. She'll also take some kind of cloth to at least cover her face, so that there's some kind of mask.
She's not burning a spell slot every time she needs to disguise herself.
Yeah. And maybe a cloak if there is one.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you don't want the cloak is not in Lumiere colors.
Nope. Right.
No. So black cloak.
No name tag.
Yeah, right, but I do want
across the back that say
the giant crest on the back. Yeah.
It says Lumi Air. H-E-A-R. So people know.
That's right, the air's in town. You grab a cloak, pull the collar up, pull the face mask up.
Yeah.
Do you make any attempt to cover your head?
Does the cloak come with like a hood or anything? Yeah. Or yeah.
Just with the hood.
So that's good.
So you are now in straight up. You are in Spellblade attire. You are ready to go. Your gauntlet glints a little bit in the candlelight of your room. Fasten it. You ready to go?
Head out the
secret way. You don't even bother with you basically you leap out, land, jump off, land, and using a series of roofs, slide out a different direction off the side of the estate into the bushes on the outskirts. And from the bushes, a figure darts out in a run. So with that, and with not quite enough time to hop into a common encounter today, let's spin back around to both Karis and Shaka and see if we can get you guys to the manor without missing a couple rounds of combat. You guys are currently still, you're still about a mile away. You're hoofing it through the city. I'm going to need a athletics check from both of you.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Get it, guys? Hoofing it? Haha.
That's a 17.
17. With ease, moving through the city streets at night. A couple times you guys almost slip on some of the cobbles meant for wagons and for horses and not for human feet as you're tripping and trying to move through. Have you tried to walk on cobblestone? Like actual cobblestone?
I don't have human feet.
That's right.
But what about in the game?
I also imagine my feet are more draconic than human.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you guys succeeded.
There we go.
You guys are sprinting through the night, moving through some alleyways to pick it up. There are a number of darkened areas of this part of the city that are much seedier than you would have expected with it being the Rose Quarter, or rather the Rose Ward. Through small shop fronts, or through the front of you pass shops along the way, through a miniature market district. I couldn't get the words up for some reason. You guys find yourselves in the center of a large quarter, and you can't see the manor from where you are. You're too deep into the city. I need you guys to make a survival check.
19.
19. And from you, Shaka?
Nat 20 for 25.
You guys both start taking off in the same direction. What feels like east? Yeah, east. You guys sprint, keep running. There is about 100 feet ahead of you guys as you continue moving through the city. Middle of the night, you can see spread across the streets in front of you, blocking the entire way as you're moving, is looks like ticker tape. And as you get closer, you can see the bright shine of a couple of law mages casting light around, seemingly trying to close this part of the street off. Perhaps a scene of a crime, no one's certain. But as you get closer, they turn, and you hear one of them say, "Halt."
Shaka, can you do the thing?
Who's there?
I reach out, put my hand on his knee, and Dimension Doris 500 feet away.
Hey, stop them! You guys just take off fucking running now. As you hear a handful, you hear a couple of footfalls behind you, but they are falling behind as you guys push forward deeper, closer now to the manor. You get into the neighborhood of these tall buildings, most of them beautifully kept. All of them with statuary, gardens, and topiaries. It's the height of Gilded Age, lavish architecture. As you move into the area, you immediately see across the street, you can see the manor with the lights on. You see an old man shaking the gates, and then you see him stop, and you see him look at something in the darkness. But from this distance, you can't tell what it is.
Can I try sending a message?
Yes. You are currently about 200 feet away. You're about 100 feet from the gate, and then the gate is 100 feet from the manor.
Okay, then I don't try to send a message.
Okay. Do you want to get within 100 feet, though? You can. It will take you right up to the gate.
I have to be, it's within 120 feet, so.
120? Okay.
Yeah.
So you get within 120?
I'll look up at Karis one more time.
Yes. I why not?
Where are you taking Shaka?
I will transfer us 500 feet into the manor grounds.
Into the manor grounds. You have enough space to, you can see into the building, too. There are 4 rooms with lights on in the building. There's 2 on the bottom floor. There's one at the far end of the manor on the top floor, and another at the far end of the other manor.
Can we see anything in the windows? Can we see?
Perception check with disadvantage.
Oh. It was a natural 20 and then a 12. So 18?
It's a 14 for me.
You see figures in both. You see 2 figures in one, and the one on the left, and you see 3 figures in the one on the right. Just silhouettes. It's all you can make out as they push in through.
Are they moving?
They were moving before they ducked out of sight, both sides.
Shaka, what did you see? I saw 2 over there. Did you see anything?
Did I actually see any of it? Because my roll was only a 14.
Your roll was only a 14? Well, you definitely saw figures in both of them.
Okay.
You guys both saw the figures.
Okay.
You can't identify who is who. You just saw figures. What are you doing, Sel?
I am gonna kind of sigh deeply. Do I see the 2 of them, a fawn silhouette?
They're behind you currently.
Okay.
And they're behind you by about how far? Still 200 feet, right?
Yeah.
You don't have dark vision.
100 feet. 100
Right.
feet.
Right. Yeah, so you will not see them.
Okay. I'm gonna sigh really deeply because that was not what I wanted to do. And then, can I try to climb over the gate?
Make an athletics check.
Fuck. I eat shit at those. Athletics. 19.
That's not bad. You get to the top and you actually it's so slick. You have to grab these poles and rise up and cut your hand a bit on the top, but it's just enough to pull yourself over, and you tuck and flip and land on your feet on the other side. Wasn't as graceful as you wanted it to be, but it was pretty damn effective. You're now inside the grounds. You guys see this old, decrepit man just go whoop, 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 and just climb over and land on the other side on his feet and stand up, spry.
To be fair, if Payne can make it over, anyone should be able to make it over.
You have a bit of magical assistance, so.
I'm gonna run.
Fence for a while. Go ahead.
I'm gonna run up to the door and see if it's unlocked.
Okay. You begin running. You see this old man take off in a full sprint. It's going to take you around to cover that ground, which we'll pick up on at the beginning of next session. What are you guys doing for your last action before we begin next session with initiative?
Just to confirm, my dimension door did actually take us into the grounds on the other side of the.
It can take you into the grounds, but I was letting you know that you could also you could activate dimension door into the building if you wanted to, because you have the range and you have the sight. Yeah.
Yes, definitely would have wanted to.
Okay, that's why I was calling it out, and that's why we were calling out. Hey, there's 2 figures on the left and there's 3 figures on the right. Because I thought you might want to decide which one of these you were jumping into on the second floor. Also, the bottom floor, no figures on the bottom floor. Just lit windows.
I would have gone probably for the room with the 2 people then. Mm-hmm. Just assuming that was our best shot to find Payne and her mentor.
Okay, perfect. So one more time, shimmering purple gate as you both pass through into the lit room with 2 figures dressed in black. As they turn, and a third comes from where the door had been slammed in his face.
And just as a point of order, I want to, as I see Terramir preparing and doing all of these things, I'm just going to give myself Vigilant Blessing for the initiative roll next time.
So with Veritan sprinting across the open...
Veritan?
I did say Veritan, fuck me! So sprinting across the open court, you guys dimension dooring inside the building, door slamming shut where you are, Payne, and with Amelia still booking it across the city. That is where we'll end for today, and we will pick up next week with the fight. Great job, guys. Hell fucking yeah. That was a whole lot of roleplay. To whoever made it through all of that, that was basically, we went the first 4 sessions straight running and combat. And then the 5th session was pretty much all roleplay. So
yeah. So the next one will be all combat.
Probably.
Probably.
Now we'll end it within the hour. Don't worry.
This is roleplay only, actually. Roleplay only stream. Guys, great job. I had a fucking blast. I hope you did too. Hell yeah. Can't wait to play again next week.
Hey,
that was fantastic.
Thanks for joining us, Lisa.
Yeah.
That was a good time. I'm going to mute you guys so you can start talking smack. I'm muting you now. For everybody out there in the stream, thank you for tuning in, and we will be back next Saturday for more of Marn, where we'll continue this, and you can find out what Cell says when Karis casts Charm Person on him, or something like that. Thank you all for being here. Love you all. Love one another. Be kind to each other, and we will see you next time.